USAID, the CDC.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
In the chamber tonight as we look
Can
at
you guys hear
the
me?
chamber. Rachel Scott is also
I don't.
there. And
I'm not
Rachel,
streaming from
there he
OBS.
is, Elon Musk, special government employee.
I'm doing.
And he is the president's most powerful.
Okay, we're doing the presidential address to the Congress, to the world.
Right near the First Lady's box.
Join with a guest. Also, for the first time guest Dominic, Michael, Tripi. Oh no, look at that. You got me? Okay. I'm not able to do the levels, so let me know if I'm too quiet.
Many of the attendees tonight, some of the guests are fired federal workers, people who have been impacted by the Department of Government Efficiency.
Lots been going on. I'm going to have to do a big news stream tomorrow. RFK's put out a statement that he's going to go after the health crisis, the mental illness of the anti-Semitism plague.
Rachel Scott in the chamber for us. First Lady Melania Trump arriving, and we know that Elon Musk is in the First Lady's box. She has several guests tonight.
Ben Shapiro is the guest of Mike Johnson.
Trump expected, obviously, to point out the First Lady in the chamber, as well as the reasons for her guests being there. Elon Musk not far from the First Lady. Rachel Scott talking about the balance of power in Washington. You saw that cutaway there just a moment ago.
Look at her all tatted up.
Johnson
Who's that?
Vice President J.D. Vance, Mary Bruce, Republican Speaker of the House.
Is ABC feed good for you guys? It's just the first one I saw.
Trump has a Republican Party right now.
First Shiksa.
Both the House and the Senate.
And you are going to see that full Republican power on display here tonight.
Hey guys, I think Odysee demonetized me.
Unlike we did before during his first term, to come in, and I believe we may be getting close to that moment, David.
The House Sergeant at Arms.
Speaker, the President's Cabinet.
The President's Cabinet now entering the room, and Mary, you've covered this every step of the way. His Cabinet nominated.
And in comes the king.
Large, the vast majority of them getting nominated and accepted by the Senate.
And again, a sign of
little Marco Rubio, the Zionist.
Of course, the president there
Volume a little low on the feed.
You see the Treasury Secretary behind
you can turn that up, I guess.
That's Pete Hegseth
Better.
entering as well, all shaking hands. Despite, I think, a lot of what were initially controversial picks for his cabinet, all of them
back patting going on here.
Because the party is in such lockstep behind him, and many of these people,
everybody's lockstep behind Trump.
Have shown themselves to be deeply loyal to Donald Trump, willing to do anything to support his agenda, David.
Pete Hegseth, RFK Jr., the Health and Human Services Secretary, and Martha Raddatz. Pete Hegseth faced a battle there for a while. It looked
there's RFK.
So did RFK Jr.'s nomination, but Republicans.
His statement about anti-Semitism. I know it's like he just gets confirmed.
Exactly, David. It took a while.
RFK just got confirmed, and he comes out with a op-ed in New York Times or in Fox News calling for measles vaccines, and then now talking about the plague, the mental health epidemic, the mental virus, the plague of anti-Semitism.
A major in the military, served in Iraq, and used those credentials.
Hope I'm not on mute. No, I'm not mute.
Very fulsomely.
Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security. Rachel Scott was embedded with the team today with ICE and the FBI.
Makeup's on. What's her name? Kristi Noem. Before all the plastic surgery, she looks so different. She's hot now. Kristi Noem Young.
President Trump approached this second time around very differently from the first. This was about loyalty. This was about getting the picks that he wanted, and he got them there.
David, this second Trump presidency is in many ways entirely different from the first. You know, first, he comes into Washington. He comes into this.
Don't tell me that's her.
He can claim as a mandate. He won the popular vote. He obviously didn't win the popular vote the first time around. It was
guys, is this the same Kristi Noem?
He was new to Washington last time.
Before the plastic surgery, is that really her?
Yes,
before the lip injections and all the makeup, that's what she looked like?
People who are personally loyal to Donald Trump, as is his West Wing. He wasn't relying on outside advice on how to pick. He wasn't picking people that he had only recently met. These are people who are not going
hardcore Christian Zionists, by the way.
Bobby Kennedy Jr. I mean, Bobby Kennedy Jr., who I've
Yeah,
known for
Liam, I
30
told you, I think they
years.
demonetized me.
Bobby Kennedy Jr., of course, from one of the
Hopefully
most
it's just
famous
temporary.
Democratic
They said
families, in American history.
they said I had to
Bobby
go.
Kennedy
I was
Jr.
put on
encouraged
pause, and I
Donald
had to
Trump,
go put in
and
more
he was
information, and it's
rewarded
pending.
with,
So hopefully we get it back.
Secretary of Post. And interestingly, not a single Democrat voted.
You had a tipping issue yesterday,
Bobby Kennedy.
Edom? Yeah.
Scene to witness,
Sign up
and
for
not only that,
Subscribe
but
Star
several members of the Kennedy family
or the
spoke
P.O.
out
box
against
below.
RFK Jr. and this nomination.
Adam called the mandate over a year ago. I did.
Waited till the very last moment before she
And I said he's going to be in with the most Zionist cabinet ever, too.
Cousin should be secretary, but he is secretary nonetheless, and his first major challenge could be the measles.
I thought that they would
outbreak we've seen in
destroy
West
Gaza. I didn't take Gaza. I didn't know Trump would say America's going to take it, but that's just the first step towards giving it to Israel.
In the studio tonight, and Lindsay, a lot of eyes will also be on the Democrats.
Can't use the support button either. I know, guys. If you want to support, go over to Rumble.
Have any sort of cohesive response as of yet to what they've
No,
seen in
Matt
these first 44
Matt
days?
Gates, if he would have been the Attorney General, they would have just used the blackmail they have on him to get him to block the truth about Epstein. That's what happened. And Andrew Tate flying to Florida is now being had his phone seized, I heard. He's being investigated by Florida. They had a search warrant. I think this is just for Florida to run cover for him, to clear his name. It's political theater to give him more legitimacy, and then to whitewash and be like, whoa, we didn't find any criminality. We can't charge him. So he'll be like, see, I'm innocent.
We've seen in any other American president in their first 100 days in more than 40 years. And we're talking about a wide variety from paper.
Yeah, Gates should have embraced the black. Well, that's the only blackmail that we knew of. I wonder if he's here. I got to check to see if he's here. There he is. Sorry, Sam. All right, Sam.
That ultimately he has to get breakthrough to the American people.
Sorry, Dom. I called you Sam.
You got me loud and clear, brother?
I do, but you're okay. There you are. Hold on. Let me get you a little bigger here. What's up, dude?
What's up, my man? How we doing?
I'm hanging in there. How are you doing?
You know what? It was a long fucking day of a lot of kosher theater news, but we got a little cold brew right here. We're about to watch this shit. Get it going, man.
Late night cold brew. Awesome. Well, cool. It's good to have you on. I'm glad we finally got to do it. We've been talking about it for a while. We booked it last week before we realized of the big event tonight, but this is perfect. You're a perfect guest for to watch this go down and discuss some of the latest that's been happening.
You know, the stars are kind of aligning because it is. I mean, I know that, we've got much greater forces that we need to worry about as far as, what's determining the direction of our country. But, for now, this is kind of what we're dealing with as far as the government. So, hey, we gotta pay a little attention, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So my guest tonight, guys, if you don't know him, name's in the title, Dominic Michael Tripi. Am I pronouncing the Tripi right? Like you're tripping out?
You got it right, my friend.
Okay, they're saying you have an echo. This is why I wasn't sure about using StreamYard. When I share my screen, watch, this will make it stop. I have mute the feed audio and then go ahead, give us a test 1, 2, or what's front and center on your mind? I bet you the echo will be gone.
Echo check, echo.
You got echoes all around you, bro. Glowing with echoes.
You're still hearing it?
No, I don't think so. We'll find out in a second. There's just a slight delay. Yeah, it's gone.
We're good.
So I just have to, whenever you talk, I have to pause the feed of this. It's so stupid that StreamYard does this. You know what? Let me actually try. If I stop.
Yeah, if you want to use something else, man, I have no problem doing that.
Well, I'd like to be able to use this, but I'm paying a lot for it, and it should be able to have a guest and then watch something with audio and not have your echo. But I mean, if anybody knows StreamYard, maybe if I do share screen and I do window instead of entire screen, maybe that will work. We're still waiting to share audio, share tab or screen instead. Okay, let's try this then.
So how you been doing otherwise? What's going on?
I'm irritated.
You're mad about Jesus. You're mad about
irritated
Jesus.
and frustrated every day about the goyim falling for Jewish tricks and all the disinfo out there, and the enslavement of our political class to Israel. But besides that, home life, family life, kids is all good. So
Well, perfect.
try to focus on that.
You know, the one thing that I'll say though, bro, is I know that like as far as boomers and things like that, we got quite some time before these people come around, but realistically, I think a lot of normal people are starting to see that this treatment for Israel, the treatment for anything related to Jewish people, it's just simply different and it's fucking weird, you know? So I think that normal people are starting to ask questions that were not previously, 100% for sure.
I think, I mean, undoubtedly more so, but I think it's still in a controlled way, and there's a release valve, and so much of it is still part of the kosher dialectic, where it's so many Christians and Muslims that are criticizing Israel, and they do it in a way that's ultimately discrediting and protects Zionism and Jewish power. That's the way I see it. Like,
Yeah,
look,
I mean,
a lot of people are waking up, but what is that resulting in? A more Zionist Congress than ever. More disavows of anti-Semitism. More. I just got my Odysee donation button paused today, and they're kicking them off of Stripe and stuff.
wait, what? Did Odysee block you themselves or a third party through Odysee?
No, third party through
Okay.
Odysee, or so they claim. All right, hold on. Trump's coming out now. Let's see here. Turn this up a little bit. Uh-oh. And we're frozen. You're not frozen.
Spent a lot of time
Okay,
to
there we go.
preside over the union. Although some would say in these first 44 days, and Lindsay made the point, it has been a dizzying number of actions.
I wonder if they're really going to throw eggs and stuff like that. That'd be crazy.
A defining sort of.
I don't know if
They're
you've
gonna
heard
do
those
something.
rumors, but they're apparently thinking about bringing egg, noisemakers, all kinds of other stuff to somehow disturb the
President has done
conference.
this before. He fought for re-election. He won the election, both the popular vote and the electoral college. And
This is
Rachel
not
Scott
normal,
got
her
right to
sign.
He picked people who he knew would be loyal to him.
How about, like,
You know-
what is not normal? Like, that doesn't even mean anything.
And you know, man, what you were just talking about, it's like you really are just seeing the most Zionist administration in the history of the U.S. government. And you're right. People are waking up. What's that going to cause? Well, I think you're seeing it. You're seeing people like Elise Stefaniak literally only talking about Israel. You're seeing a new commission, a new task force specifically about anti-Semitism. You see Trump just today talk about, the campus protests. It's like you're going to see European style laws in the United States, and people like you and myself are going to be, I don't know, potentially skirting the law if it really does swing that way. So we'll have to see what happens. But that's the most likely outcome, in my opinion.
The Epstein and the JFK cover-ups and fake limited hangout disclosures are on their way as well.
Of course. And I also know it's just funny to see people still defend like the figures like Pam Bondi or Cash Patel and act like they really even have a say.
Yeah.
Like it's all show, bro. It's all fucking theater.
Yeah. I think the Andrew Tate thing is theater. I think that they're going to arrest him, investigate him, and then clear his name and like whitewash him. And then it'll just give him more attention, more publicity, and then he'll be like, "Oh, I was found." Even they found him not guilty. I think that's what's going on right now. We'll see.
Do you think he's going to be clear, dude? I think they're going after him all the way. I don't know what's going on, but the fact that they went after Tate before they went after the Epstein files is just it's just so disgraceful. It's so ridiculous.
Well, they did ultimately arrest Epstein, although they gave him a sweet. Was it Pam Bondi was involved?
Pam Bondi was Pam Bondi was the Florida AG in 2019 when they actually arrested Epstein.
And I know the other guy, I think his name was Alex Acosta.
Yeah,
and was involved with the cover. He gave him a slap on the wrist, and then Trump, in his first term, gave him some position.
Yeah, and then the reason why I gave him a slap on the wrist is because he claimed during some type of court hearing or when he was under oath that he was told that Epstein was involved in intelligence and he couldn't touch it. But that's the reason why. So, I mean, Dude, the fact they're not just outright saying, yes, he was an intelligence gathering operation, honeypot thing for Mossad, working with Israel, talking about Robert Maxwell. We already know this shit. It's just, the boomers and the pathetic people aren't ever going to acknowledge it.
Well, you got guys like Dan Bongino who goes some country in the Middle East, or Alex Jones saying it's the Chi-Coms and the Clintons.
The only good politician I've seen speak about it, honestly, was Gates, because he at least said, he described the entire operation, and he goes, I'm not going to say what country it is, but implied what it was.
I know. Even that is such a joke. You can't say what it is. How long you think this is going to go? I hope it's like
a full 60,
30.
dude.
What?
I bet like 60 minutes. I bet he's on fucking 5 Diet Cokes just ready to rip.
Yeah. His acceptance speech was long. All right, here we go.
All right, let's try it out.
Handing a copy of the speech to Speaker Johnson. Of course, you'll remember the years when former Speaker Nancy Pelosi was standing behind him.
Mike Johnson invited Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh as his special guests.
Yeah, I saw that. I actually almost got the criteria for what they're going to talk about from Savannah Hernandez. It was at the Bindergate thing, but I just figured, fuck it. Is anybody else there you know about that's like Shapiro, pathetic as that?
Mm-mm.
All right, no eggs so far.
Man, this is like a Netanyahu level standing ovation.
Yeah, I think it's his first public address before both houses of Congress. Well, the inauguration, but
whole lot of really big smile. There they are.
Look at that. Riley Gaines.
Oh, Riley Gaines, yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a great honor. Thank you very much. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, the First Lady of the United States.
She's definitely pretty underrated as far as the First Lady. She's underrated.
She looks good for how old she is.
For sure.
A gilf.
Members of the United States Congress, thank you very much. And to my fellow citizens, America is back.
You're going to hear a lot of red one-liners tonight.
Uh-oh. Hey, if anybody knows of a better feed than
6 weeks ago,
ABC,
I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol.
because this one's messing up.
Let me look around.
This is the ABC. Oh, shoot, it just disappeared. There it is. Donald Trump. This will work.
History of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
I sent you another feed of this goes down.
To report that America's momentum is back, our spirit is back, our pride is back.
That's the one I'm on.
Is back, and the American
oh, really?
surging bigger
oh, no, that's Trump. Okay.
Than ever before. The American dream is unstoppable, and our country is on the verge of a comeback, the likes of which the world has never witnessed and perhaps will never witness again.
Greatest comeback ever. Low energy to start, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what's going on.
The election of November 5th was a mandate like has not been seen in many decades. We won all 7 swing states, giving us an electoral college victory of 312 votes. The American dream.
Greatest mandate ever. I can do whatever I want.
He needed a few more Diet Coke tonight for sure.
We won the popular vote by big numbers.
I'm very
We won
popular.
counties in our country.
Okay. Louder. We're going to drown that out with the booze.
And won counties in our country, 2,700 to 525.
Get him out of here.
On a map that reads almost completely red for Republican. Now, for the first time in modern history, more Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction than the wrong direction. In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing, the most ever.
Man, it's all just so fucking fake. It's hard not to get frustrated about it.
Hey, maybe go to your audio and then settings and then echo cancellation. See if that works through StreamYard.
Single largest 1-month gain ever recorded, a 41-point jump.
Order in the House.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruption.
All right, I turned it on and I turned my mic volume a little down.
No, I think up. You're a little quiet.
Oh.
Yeah. Who's this guy?
Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant at Arms to restore order
Mike
to the joint
Johnson.
session.
Who are they going to drag out of here? AOC is going to get dragged out?
I mean, if somebody throws something, I think they're definitely going to throw them out for sure. Not even get arrested. I don't think they're going to that.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat.
Oh.
Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant at Arms to restore order.
Oh, shit.
Idiocracy. Pat says it's idiocracy. They yell at each other like crazy in in other countries.
Oh, I know. They fight.
Yeah.
I saw in Serbia they threw a smoke bomb the other day. Oh, were they going to get him?
Yeah. Oh, God, they're singing that.
Did he throw anything, or what did he even do?
Members
Wouldn't sit down.
to uphold and maintain decorum in the
Damn, I'm
House.
surprised they threw him out for something that small, to be honest.
Over the past 6 weeks, I have signed nearly 100 executive orders and taken more than 400 executive actions, a record to restore common sense, safety, optimism, and wealth all across our wonderful land. The people elected me to do the job, and I'm doing it.
Man, it's dumb how they just stand for every other thing they say. Like, I understand if it's a real zinger, but come on.
The biggest applaud of the night is going to be about Israel, I bet.
I guarantee it. There's no doubt. Because it's everyone on both aisles.
Yeah, that'll be the only time they stand up on the other side.
Of our presidency, it's our presidency.
His
It's the
country.
most successful in the history of our nation. By many.
At the end of the day, I mean, I prefer him over Kamala, but I mean, you know, that's not really saying much. Because it's just, you're really getting, you know, either side, you're getting the same thing. You really are.
Is that, do you know who number 2 is? George Washington. How about that? How about that?
Is he saying he's the best president ever?
But we'll take it.
Besides Washington, or no? Yeah, I guess he said
He said Washington's number 2.
Yeah,
a national emergency on our southern
He just said he's
border.
better president than George Washington. Is that what I heard?
And Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country.
They're going to put him on the $100 bill. That's what they're trying to do. You saw
As
that?
a result, illegal
Yeah, it's like they want to continue sending billions to Israel and just, pillaging Ukraine, but they want to do that bill. It's fucking insane.
The Queen sits down.
They heard my words.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that.
Not to come. Much easier that way. In comparison, under Joe Biden, the worst president in American history, there were hundreds of thousands of illegal crossings a month, and virtually all of them, including murderers, drug dealers, gang members, and people from mental institutions and insane asylums, were released into our country. Who would want to do that? This is my 5th such speech to Congress. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations, or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history, or the stoppage of crime to the lowest levels ever recorded. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what. Five times I've been up here. It's very sad, and it just shouldn't be this way.
Called out.
Yeah, that was pretty divisive for sure.
So Democrats sitting before me, for just this one night, why not join us in celebrating so many incredible wins for America? For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
But she got a bottle of vodka in her hand?
She has a cane, apparently, now.
Oh, shit. For 85 years old, she actually retired. I'll give it to her.
Every day, my administration is fighting to deliver the change America needs to bring a future that America deserves, and we're doing it. This is a time for big dreams and bold action. Upon taking office, I imposed an immediate freeze on all federal hiring, a freeze on all new federal regulations, and a freeze on all foreign aid.
Except to Israel. Except to Israel. Come on. You just did $4 billion to Israel this week.
I heard it was like 7.4.
It probably was. They reported for.
Ridiculous Green New Scam. I withdrew from the unfair Paris Climate Accord, which was costing us trillions of dollars that other countries were not paying. I withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization. And I also withdrew from the anti-American UN Human Rights Council.
You mean the anti-Israel? Come on, you did that for Israel, not America. Come on, we're not stupid.
We ended all of Biden's environmental restrictions that were making our country far less safe and totally unaffordable. And importantly, we ended the last administration's insane electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto workers and companies from economic destruction. To unshackle our economy, I have directed that for every one new regulation, 10 old regulations must be eliminated, just like I did in my very successful first term.
You know, he does all these things that are inconsequential, but like the things that we actually voted him for, like deportations, they ran one freaking propaganda video the first couple days, and then now they're deporting less people than Biden. It's just such a gimmick, man.
Yeah. Hey, we got Greenland in the Gulf of America.
We ordered all federal workers to return to the office. They will either show up for work in person or be removed from their job.
You're fired.
Almost any of the good things they've done have all been about shrinking the government and saving money, but we, the people, are not going to actually get any of those savings. So it's just for the government, which we were, you know, basically against. We want it to be small and really not doing that much, at least for me.
Viciously prosecute his political opponent like me. How did that work out?
Ooh.
Not too good.
Not too good for you. Wow.
Must be
golf.
And I have stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back.
Yeah, sure it is. That's why I'm still banned from YouTube, PayPal, Patreon, Facebook.
2 days ago, I signed an order making English the official language.
I mean, dude, we're
of the
talking
United
about
States of America.
now we may be facing criminal charges just for speaking about history. You know, I really think that's coming, man. I really do.
I renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
Again, it's like all this is just inconsequential.
Who
It's like
cares?
a job on a car. Like we want to fuck with the engine. It's just so
Throwing
ridiculous.
bones.
The lowest hanging fruit possible.
Great President William McKinley, Mount McKinley again. Beautiful Alaska.
All these feel-good moments, these cheap thrills. Oh, we're gonna put my face on Mount Rushmore.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military.
And now they just renamed the department, and they've just they've repositioned the employee. They don't even get rid of them.
Will be woke no longer.
Woke no longer. Except when it comes to Israel.
And except when you can't even pass your laws to keep dudes out of women's sports. This just happened today, I believe.
Oh, really?
An accountant, a lawyer, or an air traffic controller. You should be hired and promoted based on skill and competence, not race or gender. Very important.
Man, how are these bimbos get in there? Truly.
You should be hired based on merit. And the Supreme Court, in a brave and very powerful decision, has allowed us to do so. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Dude, look at her on the court.
The poison of critical race theory from
I mean, dude, they're like glorified OnlyFans girls that we have in Congress now. It's absurd.
Official policy of the United
Christy Nome.
States government that there are only two
Luna,
genders,
Nancy
male
Mace,
and female.
the Colorado girl, what's her name? Bobert.
Oh, I don't like her at all.
No, but they're all just bimbos. They're
Oh,
like,
yeah. Right.
Pick me, 100%.
I also signed an executive order to ban men from playing in women's sports. Three years ago, Peyton McNabb was an all-star high school athlete, one of the best, preparing for a future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male, he smashed the ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing traumatic.
Dude, have you seen this clip?
No.
Oh my God, I have it. I'll find it.
Send it to me.
Bro, it's bad.
It was a shot like she's never seen before.
That's happened to me before playing volleyball. I got hit so hard in the face.
Yeah, and I feel bad for her too. She took some damage. So we're not hating on her, but
She still looks fine. Besides
yeah, we gotta get the clip though, no matter what.
Federal funding.
Looks like she's the one that got hit with the volleyball. Riley Gaines.
All right, just sent you the clip.
And if you really want to see numbers, just take a look at what happened in the women's boxing, weightlifting, track and field, swimming, or cycling, where a male recently finished a long-distance race 5 hours and 14 minutes ahead of a woman for a new record.
It didn't even look that bad.
Broke the record by
I got hit way harder than that.
Goal or something. It was pretty serious.
It's very bad for our country. We're not going to put up with it any longer.
We just picked the most useless fucking people to be there, man.
What I have just described is only a small fraction of the common sense revolution that is now, because of us, sweeping the entire world. Common sense has become a common theme, and we will never go back. Never. Never going to let that happen. Among my very highest priorities is to rescue our economy and get dramatic and immediate relief to working families. As you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare.
I do want to know if he'll announce the Ukraine deal, though, or if they did.
I heard that they claimed he was going to announce a deal.
I heard that, and then I heard the White House officials push back on the reports.
Yeah, I doubt it. It seems unlikely. I heard it was off the table, too.
Worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. They're not sure. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again.
Mike Johnson just stuck a cuck. When he rolled over on the spying stuff, I mean, he just terrible. Totally the worst.
The egg price is out of control.
You blame Biden on eggs.
Working hard to get it back down. Secretary, do a good job on that. You inherited a total mess from the previous administration. Do a good job.
We need more chickens. Is that what we need? More chickens? Will that fix the problem?
He'll talk about stuff like that.
A major focus of our fight to defeat
Was that a
inflation
protester?
Is that a prophecy? There's like an egg prophecy. It seems too weird.
Administration cut the number of new oil and gas leases.
Did you see the girl with that shirt that said resist? Was that a Congress person?
Construction to a halt and closed more than 100 power plants. We are opening up many of those power plants right now.
This entire administration is just like all Zionists, tech bros, a couple Fox News stars, a couple gay dudes, and like that's literally it.
Bunch of Rumble guys, some cute,
That's a
cute
whole
people.
Energy
And a couple bimbos thrown there, like Pam Bondi and Kristen Holmes.
As you've heard me say many times, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any nation on earth, and by far. And now I fully authorize the most talented team ever assembled to go and get it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill.
There might be prophecies about eggs, actually. No way.
He says the same stuff in every freaking speech.
I know.
Seriously.
Oh.
Working on a gigantic natural gas pipeline in Alaska, among the largest in the world, where Japan, South Korea, and other nations want to be our partner with investments of trillions of dollars each. There's never been anything like that one. It will be truly spectacular. It's all set to go. The permitting is gotten. And later this week, I will also take historic action to dramatically expand production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the U.S.
Raw earth or rare earth?
Rare.
Yeah. Are we sure it's not raw earth?
This is pretty low energy, man.
To further combat inflation, we will not only be reducing the cost of energy, but will be ending the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars.
I thought it was going to be Hitler energy. Hitler emperor energy.
I thought he might go kind of hard. You know, he does love attention.
Yeah.
For all the faults, he likes attention for sure.
To that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency.
Did you see how their 3 biggest cuts all were like literally a tenth of what they claimed, and they had to erase them from the website?
Which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight.
He's like, my heart goes out to you all. He does it again. Do it, Elon. We know you want to.
Brian Master, love it. The guy that wears the IDF uniform in the fucking center of the house.
He's working very hard. He didn't need this. He didn't need this. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe. They just don't want to admit that. Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of.
I never heard of it.
$60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million.
Oh my
$8
God.
million for making mice transgender. This is real. $32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova.
50 million for condoms to Gaza. Is that one coming?
In Mozambique.
The thing is these are all decisions. They're fractions of a percent of our debt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All these things are so small.
$20 million for a program. $1.9 billion to recently created decarbonization of homes committee.
Still outrageous.
No, absolutely. And it does. It's not that it doesn't matter, but as long as we're sending 350 and 60 and all kinds of stuff to Israel and Ukraine, we can't. This stuff just doesn't matter that much.
$3.5 million consulting contract for lavish fish monitoring. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali.
This stuff is
$59
pathetic.
million for legal alien hotel rooms in New York City. He's a real estate developer. He's done very well. $250,000 to increase vegan local climate action innovation in Zambia. $42 million for social and behavior change in Uganda. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well with learning. We know what we're doing. We should use it ourselves. And $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education. The most ever paid, nothing even like it. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams, and they're far worse, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about them. They're so bad. Many more have been found out and exposed and swiftly terminated by a group of very intelligent, mostly young people, headed up
Mostly
by
Indian.
Elon, and we appreciate it. We found hundreds of billions of dollars.
They're putting AI in charge of the government. That's where this is headed.
Yeah, and just yesterday, Elon Musk said on Joe Rogan, like, oh, if we do some AI law and say, oh, we don't want this gender transgendered, it could just kill everyone as a solution. Like, he was basically saying it's going to be out of control. That's a whole other conversation, but I'm kind of against AI. When I say kind of, I mean strongly.
The Government Accountability Office, a federal government office, has estimated annual fraud of over $500 billion in our nation. and we are working very hard to stop it. We're going to. We're also identifying shocking levels of incompetence and probable fraud in the Social Security program for our seniors and that our seniors and people that we love rely on. Believe it or not, government databases list 4.7 million Social Security members from people aged 100 to 109 years old. It lists 3.6 million people from ages 110 to 119. I don't know any of them. I know some people that are rather.
It is messed up how they keep the records in a cave. You heard about that?
3.47 million people from ages 120 to
In a mountain?
129.
Iron Mountain?
In an old mine, in a renovated mine. And they ride a tricycle through, all shelved, all on paper. It's crazy.
3.5 million people from ages 140 to 149. And money is being paid to many of them. And we're searching right now. In fact, Pam, good luck. Good luck. You're going to find it. But a lot of money is paid out to people because it just keeps getting paid and nobody does. And it really hurts Social Security and hurts our country. 1.3 million people from ages 150 to 159 and over 130,000 people, according to the Social Security databases, are age over 160 years old. We have a healthier country than I thought, Bobby.
Dude, I still can't even believe it this back over there. We're going to get into that though, right?
Including, to finish, 1,039 people between the ages of 220 and 229. One person between the age of 240 and 249. And one person is listed at 360 years of age. More than 100 years. More than 100 years older than our country. But we're going to find out where that money's going. And it's not going to be pretty. By slashing all of the fraud, waste, and theft we can find, we will defeat inflation, bring down mortgage rates, lower car payments and grocery prices, protect our seniors, and put more money in the pockets of American families.
I bet they're going to do some like pack. They're going to give some huge rebate or something, and everybody's going to be so stoked on it. That's an easy win. You know, they'll give like everybody $1,000 check or something. I bet that's coming.
Yeah, I mean, Elon Musk already said there was supposed to be a $5,000 payment, so who knows?
Yeah,
it'll be less, but they'll do something.
Near future, I want to do what has not been done in 24 years: balance the federal budget. We're going to balance it.
Someone in the comments said, we're going to create the net Yahoo.
Which comments were those?
I don't know. It's something in here. Sabotage.
We are calling the gold card, which goes
that's Twitter. Those are Twitter.
Very soon.
Oh, okay.
For $5 million, we will allow the most successful job-creating people from all over the world to buy a path to U.S. citizenship. It's like the green card, but better and more sophisticated. And these people will have to pay tax in our country. They won't have to pay tax from where they came. The money that they've made, you wouldn't want to do that, but they have to pay tax, create jobs. They'll also be taking people out of colleges and paying for them so that we can keep them in our country instead of having them being forced out. Number one, at the top school, as an example, being forced out and not being allowed to stay and create tremendous numbers of jobs and great success for a company out there. So while we take out the criminals, killers, traffickers, and child predators who are allowed to enter our country under the open border policy of these people, the Democrats, the Biden administration, the open border, insane policies that you've allowed to destroy our country. We will now bring in brilliant, hardworking, job-creating people. They're going to pay a lot of money, and we're going to reduce our debt with that money.
Yeah, I'm disappointed so far by the ride market.
Have given us a mandate for
They're
bold
saying
and
he spit
profound
on his
change.
jacket right here.
For nearly 100 years, the
Is that what that
federal
is?
bureaucracy has grown until it has crushed our freedoms, ballooned our deficits, and held back America's potential in every possible way. The nation founded by pioneers and risk takers now drowns under millions and millions of pages of regulations and debt. Approvals that should take 10 days to get instead take 10 years, 15 years, and even 20 years before you're rejected. Meanwhile, we have hundreds of thousands of federal workers who have not been showing up to work. My administration will reclaim power from this unaccountable bureaucracy, and we will restore true democracy to America again.
There's going to be so many tweets after this, all the usual suspects. Oh, this is the greatest speech ever.
Immediately.
Yeah, the American Golden Age.
It's very simple.
That's what they're going to
The
say.
days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over.
The days of being ruled by unelected bureaucrats are over. We're being ruled more by unelected bureaucrats now than we ever have been in my life. We have way more skin in the game now, way more money than we do.
And the next phase of our plan to deliver the greatest economy in history is for this Congress to pass tax cuts for everybody. They're in there, they're waiting for you to vote. And I'm sure that the people on my right, I don't mean the Republican right, but my right here,
The left.
you're going to vote for those tax cuts, because otherwise I don't believe the people will ever vote you into office. So I'm doing you a big favor by telling you that. But I know
They ripped up her sign. Look, he grabs it, her sign that said, "This is not normal." This guy right here grabs it and rips it up and throws it in the air.
Wow.
Thank you. It's a very, very big part of our plan. We had tremendous success in our first term with it. A very big part of our plan. We're seeking permanent income tax cuts all across the board. And to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation, I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors.
You hear that, guys? That's helping me out with Stream. No tax on any of your tips on Rumble. Demonetized on Odysee tonight.
Wait, that applies to that? Does that apply to like super chats and stuff?
I think so. I hope so.
I mean, why not?
Deductible, but only if the car is
That's a good
made
point.
in America. And by the way, we're going to have growth in the auto industry like nobody's ever seen. Plants are opening up all over the place. Deals are being made. Never seen. That's a combination of the election win and tariffs. It's a beautiful word, isn't it? That, along with our other policies, will allow our auto industry to absolutely...
he's reversing the tariffs on Canada and Mexico tomorrow.
I saw that. They're already retracting them.
I mean, dude, it's just all theater.
Well, maybe they capitulated to some terms or something.
Yeah,
and
I'm
so
sure it's a little
building
bit.
massive automobile plants in America, with Honda just announcing a new plant in Indiana, one of the largest...
I saw that they're
anywhere
doing,
in the
was it
world.
Taiwan Semiconductors doing huge plants in Arizona?
Yeah. So, I mean, that is good for sure. Look, he's doing some good stuff. He's the bad stuff he does is just so bad.
With designer stuff, to get the good stuff, you have to get designer stuff. That's what they do to us.
One of the most important in the history of our country.
And it's like the things that I personally care about the most are the things that he's addressing the least. So we'll get into it.
On domestic production and all manufacturing. And just as we did before, we will provide 100% expensing. It will be retroactive to January 20th, 2025. And it was one of the main reasons why our tax cuts were so successful in our first term, giving us the most successful economy in the history of our country.
We're almost an hour in.
We had a great first
All
term.
domestic policy, not anything foreign yet.
And that's all I really wanted to hear about,
If you don't
considering
make
the
your product
situation
in
going on.
America, however, under the Trump administration, you will pay a tariff, and in some cases, a rather large one. Other countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries. On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them? And countless other nations charge us tremendously higher tariffs than we charge them. It's very unfair. India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. China's average tariff on our products is twice what we charge them. And South Korea's average tariff is 4 times higher. Think of that, 4 times higher. And we give so much help militarily and in so many other ways to South Korea. But that's what happens. This is happening by friend and foe. This system is not fair to the United States and never was. And so on April 2nd, I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to be accused of April Fool's Day. That's not, just one day was cost us a lot of money. But we're going to do it in April. I'm a very superstitious person. April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Whatever they tax us, we will tax them. If they do non-monetary tariffs to keep us out of their market, then we will do non-monetary barriers to keep them out of our market. There's a lot of that, too. They don't even allow us in their market. We will take in trillions and trillions of dollars and create jobs like we have never seen before. I did it with China, and I did it with others, and the Biden administration couldn't do anything about it because there was so much money they couldn't do anything about it. We have been ripped off for decades by nearly every country on earth, and we will not let that happen any longer.
Except for Israel. Israel will continue to rip us off.
I mean, this whole thing's just been a complete bore. He's talked about money the whole time, which,
over the last
you know,
3 months,
I appreciate the economy, but what the fuck,
we have
man?
very large deficits with both of them, but even more importantly, they've allowed fentanyl to come into our country at levels never seen before, killing hundreds of thousands of our citizens and many very young, beautiful people, destroying families. Nobody's ever seen anything like that.
How about the Sackler family and all the opioid crisis?
Subsidies of hundreds of billions of dollars. We pay subsidies to Canada and to Mexico of hundreds of billions of dollars, and the United States will not be doing that any longer. We're not going to do it any longer. Thanks to our America First policies we're putting into place, we have had $1.7 trillion of new investment in America in just the past few weeks. The combination of the election and our economic policies that people of SoftBank, one of the most brilliant anywhere in the world, announced a $200 billion investment. OpenAI and Oracle, Larry Ellison, announced $500 billion investment, which they wouldn't have done if Kamala had won. Apple announced
Some of these gay tech bros up to $500 billion in our government, which means they get favors and laws curtailed to them and their needs.
Building their plants here instead of in China. And just yesterday, Taiwan Semiconductor, the biggest in the world, most powerful in the world, has a tremendous amount, 97% of the market, announced a $165 billion investment to build the most powerful chips on Earth right here in the USA.
Like a guy that's part of that $500 billion deal is Sam Altman, who is allegedly, abused his sister when she was only 3 years old, and just had a gay baby surgery. So it's just like, God.
Horrible thing. We give hundreds of billions of dollars, and it doesn't mean a thing. They take our money and they don't spend it. All that meant to them, we're giving them no money. All that was important to them was they didn't want to pay the tariffs, so they came and they're building, and many other companies are coming. We don't have to give them money. We just want to protect our businesses and our people, and they will come because they won't have to pay tariffs if they build in America. So it's very amazing. You should get rid of the CHIP Act, and whatever's left over, Mr. Speaker, you should use it to reduce debt or any other reason you want to.
He's gonna call him anti-Semitic when he gets to foreign policy in Israel.
A new trade policy will also be great for the American farmer.
I don't think there's any way we get through this without him bringing up Jews or Israel. He probably won't say the word Jews, but he'll bring up
into our home market, the USA, because nobody is going to be able to compete with you. Because there's goods that come in from other countries and companies. They're really in a bad position in so many different ways. They're uninspected. They may be very dirty and disgusting, and they come in and they pour in, and they hurt our American farmers. The tariffs will go on agricultural product coming into America, and our farmers, starting on April 2nd, it may be a little bit of an adjustment period. We had that before when I made the deal with China, $50 billion of purchases, and I said, just bear with me, and they did. They did. Probably have to bear with me again, and this will be even better. That was great. The problem with it was that Biden didn't enforce it. He didn't enforce it. $50 billion of purchases, and we were doing great, but Biden did not enforce it, and it hurt our farmers. But our farmers are going to have a field day right now. So to our farmers, have a lot of fun. I love you too. I love you too. It's all going to happen. And I have also imposed a 25% tariff on foreign aluminum, copper, lumber, and steel, because if we don't have, as an example, steel and lots of other things, we don't have a military, and frankly, we just won't have a country very long. Here today is a proud American steelworker, fantastic person from Decatur, Alabama, Jeff Denard. Has been working at the same steel plant for 27 years in a job that has allowed him to serve as the captain of his local volunteer fire department.
I wonder what Leroy's job is going to be.
Beautiful wife, Nicole, and over the years provide a loving home for more than 40
Leroy, who are you talking about?
children.
The guy next to him. He looked like a Leroy to me. Him.
And I forgot my freaking earpiece, so I keep having to turn it up and turn it down for my computer. Once it's over, I'll be able to.
Yeah, I know I don't think your audio is coming in good right now. We'll. It should be fixed once this is over and we finish chatting.
We'll be good.
Stories like Jeff's remind us that tariffs are not just about protecting American jobs. They're about protecting the soul of our country. Tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again, and it's happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. It won't be much. No, you're not. Oh. And look where Biden took us, very low, the lowest we've ever been. Jeff, I want to thank you very much. And I also want to recognize another person who has devoted herself to foster care community. She works so hard on it. A very loving person, our magnificent First Lady of the United States.
She's looking at him like she didn't know that he was going to fall on it.
His work has yielded incredible results, helping prepare our nation's future leaders as they enter the workforce. Our First Lady is joined by two impressive young women, very impressive. Haley Ferguson, who benefited from the First Lady's Fostering the Future initiative and is poised to complete her education and become a teacher. And Elliston Berry, who became a victim of an illicit deepfake image produced by a peer. With Elliston's help, the Senate just passed the Take It Down Act, and this is so important. Thank you very much, John. John Thune, thank you. Stand up, John. Thank you, John. Thank you all very much. Thank you. And thank you to John Thune and the Senate. Great job. To criminalize the publication of such images online is a terrible, terrible thing. And once it passes the House, I look forward to signing that bill into law. Thank you. And I'm going to use that bill for myself, too, if you don't mind. Because nobody gets treated worse than I do online. Nobody. That's great. Thank you very much to the Senate. Thank you. But if we truly care about protecting Americans' children, no step is more crucial than securing America's borders. Over the past 4 years, 21 million people poured into the United States. Many of them were murderers, human traffickers, gang members, and other criminals from the streets of dangerous cities all throughout the world. Because of Joe Biden's insane and very dangerous open border policies, they are now strongly embedded in our country, but we are getting them out and getting them out fast.
There's a lull in the speech right here.
And I want to thank Tom Homan and Christy. I want to thank you and Paul of Border Patrol. I want to thank you. What a job they've all done. Everybody, Border Patrol, ICE, law enforcement in general is incredible. We have to take care of our law enforcement. Have to.
Q-Baked Alaska. We love our law enforcement. There's Luna. Wow. She looks like an OnlyFans girl.
Nursing student named
She looked like shit right there. Wasn't all done up like your normal OnlyFans deal.
Went out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia. That morning, Laken was viciously attacked, assaulted, beaten, brutalized, and horrifically murdered. Laken was stolen from us by a savage illegal alien gang member who was arrested while trespassing across Biden's open southern border and then set loose into the United States under the heartless policies of that failed administration. It was indeed a failed administration. He had then been arrested and released in a Democrat-run sanctuary city, a disaster, before ending the life of this beautiful young angel. With us this evening are Laken's beloved mother, Allison, and her sister, Lauren.
I mean, man, this is the exact same thing as one of the campaign events. Same cadence, just everything's the same. There's nothing new.
Would not have died in vain. That's why the very first bill I signed into law as your 47th president mandates the detention of all dangerous criminal aliens who threaten public safety. It's a very strong, powerful act. It's called the Laken-Riley Act. So Allison and Lauren, America will never, ever forget our beautiful Laken Hope Riley. Thank you very much.
Everybody online's praising his speech.
Since taking office, my
now.
administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown.
I mean, is it like Charlie Kirk and Guns Riegelman?
I mean, it's all the Trump shills, but you know, they're really
illegal border crossers
everything I've been seeing.
recorded. Thank you.
I saw in the chat too. They're like, "This is better than the Gettysburg Address." His presidency's been better than George Washington, and now his speech is better than Lincoln's Gettysburg Address.
Wait, people are really saying that?
Tongue in cheek.
Yeah, I was going to say they must be kidding in the chat, but
We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all
I mean, dude, I've seen a lot of his speeches. This is honestly one of the lowest energy ones I've ever seen.
I know. It has been low energy.
This is terrible.
And it's going to be long, too, if he hasn't even started with foreign policy. It's
I know.
an hour and 15 minutes already. Trump dance. Oh, my gosh. Other countries must see her, and I'm just embarrassed.
Open our borders. He flew illegal aliens over them to overwhelm our schools, hospitals, and communities throughout the country. Entire towns like Aurora, Colorado, and Springfield, Ohio, buckled under the weight of the migrant occupation and corruption like nobody's ever seen before. Beautiful towns destroyed. Now, just as I promised in my inaugural address, we are achieving the great liberation of America. But there still is much work to be done. Here tonight is a woman I have gotten to know, Alexis Nungary from Houston. Wonderful woman. Last June, Alexis's 12-year-old daughter.
Here's the new Haktua girl.
Walked to a nearby convenience store. She was kidnapped, tied up, assaulted for 2 hours under a bridge.
Whoa.
And horrifically murdered.
Oh, wait.
Arrested and charged with this heinous crime are 2 illegal alien monsters from Venezuela, released into America by the last administration through their ridiculous open border. The death of this beautiful 12-year-old girl and the agony of her mother and family touched our entire nation greatly. Alexis, I promised that we would always remember your daughter, your magnificent daughter, and earlier tonight, I signed an order keeping my word to you. One thing I have learned about Jocelyn is that she loved animals so much. She loved nature. Across Galveston Bay, from where Jocelyn lived in Houston, you will find a magnificent national wildlife refuge, a pristine, peaceful, 34,000-acre
teardrop
sanctuary for all of God's creatures on the edge of the Gulf of America. Alexis, moments ago, I formally renamed that refuge in loving memory of your beautiful daughter, Jocelyn. So, Mr. Vice President, if you would, may I have the order?
Oh, he's going to sign an executive order right now for her daughter? For the MILF? Oh, dude.
That's actually pretty G. I mean,
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's so powerful. Looks like Kobe Bryant's wife. That's who it reminds me of a little bit.
Yeah, she's pretty. Sure.
Yeah. Like he's a baddie. He's highlighting.
We're going to talk about these heinous crimes all these guys commit, but like we're not talking about how we're actually going to get rid of them.
All three savages charged with Jocelyn and Lakin's murders were members of the Venezuelan prison gang, the toughest gang, they say, in the world, known as Tren de Aragua. 2 weeks ago, I officially designated this gang, along with MS-13 and the bloodthirsty Mexican drug cartels, as foreign terrorist organizations. They are now officially in the same category as ISIS, and that's not good for them. Countless thousands of these terrorists were welcomed into the U.S. by the Biden administration. But now every last one will be rounded up and forcibly removed from our country, or, if they're too dangerous, put in jails, standing trial in this country, because we don't want them to come back ever. With us this evening is a warrior on the front lines of that battle, Border Patrol Agent Roberto Ortiz. Great guy.
I think they'll talk about terrorism, then they'll talk about Hamas, and then they'll talk about anything else.
Yeah.
And probably save Ukraine for that.
In January, Roberto and another agent were patrolling by the Rio Grande near an area known as Cartel Island. Doesn't sound too nice to me. When heavily armed gunmen started shooting at them.
Trump is
Roberto
hilarious.
saw that his partner was totally exposed.
Was that on the
He
teleprompter?
leapt into action, returning fire.
Doesn't sound too
providing
nice to
crucial
me.
seconds for his fellow agent to seek safety, just barely. I have some of the prints of that event, and it was not good. Agent Ortiz, we salute you for your great courage and for your line of fire that you took, and for the bravery that you showed. We honor you, and we will always honor you. Thank you, Roberto, very much.
What did he do? I missed it.
It sounded like he apprehended some bad muchacho from what I heard.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't know though. Like I said in my audio, I gotta compare it up to here.
And I actually got to know him on my many calls to the border. He's a great gentleman. The territory to the immediate south of our border is now dominated entirely by criminal cartels that murder, rape, torture, and exercise total control. They have total control over a whole nation, posing a grave threat to our national security. The cartels are waging war on America, and it's time for America to wage war on the cartels, which we are doing. Five nights ago, Mexican authorities, because of our tariff policies being imposed on them, think of this, handed over to us 29 of the biggest cartel leaders in their country. That has never happened before. They want to make us happy. First time ever. But we need Mexico and Canada to do much more than they've done, and they have to stop the fentanyl and drugs pouring into the USA. They're going to stop it. I have sent Congress a detailed funding request laying out exactly how we will eliminate these threats to protect our homeland and complete the largest deportation operation in American history, larger even than current record holder President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a moderate man, but someone who believed very strongly in borders. Americans expect Congress to send me this funding without delay so I can sign it into law. So, Mr. Speaker, John Thune, both of
She
you,
smiled.
I hope you're going to be able to do that, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Mr. Leader, thank you. Thank you very much.
I'll never be able to get over Vince McMahon's wife being in the freaking administration, Linda McMahon.
Is it education? That's what she is, right?
Small business.
Small business.
And as we reclaim our sovereignty, we must also bring back law and order to our cities and towns. In recent years, our justice system
Hey, I'll be right
has
back
been
in
turned
10
upside
seconds.
down by radical left lunatics.
You points at
Many
him.
jurisdictions virtually ceased enforcing the
I got
law against dangerous repeat offenders while weaponizing law enforcement against political opponents like me. My administration has acted swiftly and decisively to restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law, starting at the FBI and the DOJ. Pam, good luck. Cash, wherever you may be, good luck. Good luck. Pam Bondi.
Is he going to say Epstein? He's going to be like, we got to see those Epstein files.
Thank you.
Make sure my name isn't in there.
Thank you, Cash. They've already started very strong. They're going to do a fantastic job. You're going to be very proud of them. We're also once again giving our police officers the support, protection, and respect they so dearly deserve. They have to get it. They have such a hard, dangerous job, but we're going to make it less dangerous. The problem is the bad guys don't respect the law, but they're starting to respect it, and they soon will respect it. This also includes our great fire departments throughout the country. Our firemen and women are unbelievable people, and we'll never forget them. And besides that, they voted for me in record numbers, so I have no choice. One year ago this month, 31-year-old New York police officer Jonathan Diller, unbelievably wonderful person and a great officer, was gunned down at a traffic stop on Long Island. I went to his funeral. The vicious criminal charged with his murder had 21 prior arrests, and they were rough arrests, too. He was a real bad one. The thug in the seat next to him had 14 prior arrests and went by the name of Killer. He was Killer. He killed other people, they say, a lot of them.
His name was
I attended
Killer.
Officer Diller's
I wonder where he got
service,
that name.
When I met his wife and one-year-old son, Ryan, it was very inspirational, actually. His widow's name is Stephanie, and she is here tonight. Stephanie, thank you very much, Stephanie. Thank you very much. Stephanie, we're going to make sure that Ryan knows his dad was a true hero, New York's finest, and we're going to get these cold-blooded killers and repeat offenders off our streets, and we're going to do it fast. Got to stop it. They get out with 28 arrests. They push people into subway trains. They hit people over the head, back of the head with baseball bats. We got to get them out of here. I've already signed an executive order requiring a mandatory death penalty for anyone who murders a police officer. And tonight I'm asking Congress to pass that policy into permanent law. I'm also asking for a new crime bill getting tough on repeat offenders while enhancing protections for America's police officers so they can do their jobs without fear of their lives being totally destroyed. They don't want to be killed. We're not going to let them be killed. Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer.
Oh.
But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer, The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago.
I thought I heard you say Epstein. He didn't say anything, did he?
No, I was just saying. Imagine if he mentioned Epstein with Pam Bondi.
You know, there's someone in the audience like, no, he's playing 4D chess. It's coming. I promise you, it's coming.
Dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer. Actually, a number of times. The police love him. The police departments love him.
And he loves
DJ,
it.
We're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
Good. That little person's about to be a member of the Secret Service. You know what they're just saying?
All right. Oh, dude, this is such good PR. The blacks are gonna love this.
Yeah, this entire thing's just been low-hanging fruit propaganda.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's be honest, they can't even pass the law. Like, the executive orders are cheap. They don't even become law.
Another DEI hire. We're not woke, though. No more DEI and woke. I'm just messing.
Thank you, DJ. DJ's doctors believe his cancer likely came from a chemical he was exposed to when he was younger.
Uh-oh.
Since 1975, rates of child cancer have increased by more than 40%. Reversing this trend is one of the top priorities for our new presidential commission to make America healthy again, chaired by our new Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr.
Yep, Shmuley's best friend. And a guy that's got more blackmail on him than really anyone else in the government.
Yeah. We knew what we were getting with him. Ian Carroll.
I know, man. He went to bat for him so hard, and now he's walking it back
I would
today.
have thought everybody over here would have been cheering.
Oh, he calls him out for not cheering.
Our goal is to get toxins out of our environment, poisons out of our food supply, and keep our children healthy and strong. As an example, not long ago, and you can't even believe these numbers, 1 in 10,000 children had autism, 1 in 10,000, and now it's 1 in 36. There's something wrong, 1 in 36, think of that. So we're going to find out what it is, and there's nobody better than Bobby and all of the people that are working with you. You have the best to figure out what is going on. Okay, Bobby, good luck. It's a very important job. Thank you.
It's good that he said that, because there's plenty of boomers and plenty of people that have never heard that statistic, and it's pretty tragic.
Thank you. My administration is also working to protect our children from toxic ideologies in our schools. A few years ago, January, Little John and her husband discovered that their daughter's school had secretly socially transitioned their 13-year-old little girl. Teachers and administrators conspired to deceive January and her husband while encouraging her daughter to use a new name.
Could you imagine? Oh my God, I would be infuriated. If some teachers did that to my baby.
Who is here tonight and is
I mean, yeah, you'd think that you'd be able to like sue them or something, but honestly, the laws are on their side.
Thank you very much.
That's why, man, you just gotta really vet schools, and I mean,
Yeah.
you really gotta be
Well,
careful.
if you know your teacher's like that, pull them out of the class. Also,
Sure.
you got to have responsibility.
You know, if you have to rely on public school, like many people do, I mean, it's tough, you know?
Shortly after taking office, I signed an executive order banning public schools from indoctrinating our children with transgender ideology.
I mean, Should have been that way from the start. It's sad that this even needs to be done. That should have been common sense all along.
Also signed an order to cut off all taxpayer funding to any institution that engages in the sexual mutilation of our youth.
That's what I mean, man. Like conservatism went from, a lot of things, and now it's like, oh, it's a W if we just don't trans your kid.
Yeah,
like,
the bar is low, huh? The bar is low.
Children and forever ending the
Very
lie that any child is trapped in the wrong body. This is a big lie.
You know, the Nazis went after the trans. Trump is being such a Nazi right now, going after the trans.
I know what's going on.
To every child in America is that you are perfect exactly the way God made you.
That'll be the narrative.
What's the school there? Frankfurt Institute? Is that where it's going down, right? Magna Churchfield?
Yeah.
Because we're getting wokeness out of our schools and out of our military, and it's already out, and it's out of our society. We don't want it. Wokeness is trouble. Wokeness is bad. It's gone. It's gone. And
It's weird that that's like a term the president uses in the address to the world, woke.
Well, and that just kind of goes to how much decorum and professionalism we've lost from this whole thing. It's like petty now. And like when I said the OnlyFans shit, I really meant it.
And Pete, congratulations. Secretary of Defense, congratulations.
It'd be cool if Trump called him like retard. He calls the left a bunch of retards or something. That would really be
good. And it really is idiocracy, man. Like you see it change over the years. It's pathetic.
Yeah.
Well, I am pleased to report that in January, the U.S. Army had its single best recruiting month in 15 years, and that all armed services are having among the best recruiting results ever in the history of our services. What a difference.
Yeah, the Army won't fight people now because they need to go clear out the Middle East.
Yeah, they need to go die against Russia and Iran and for Israel.
Notice all the new commercials are like cool, chiseled white dudes with elite swords jumping out of planes and looking cool.
We couldn't recruit. Now we're having the best results just about that we've ever had. What a tremendous turnaround. It's really a beautiful thing to see. People love our country again. It's very simple. They love our country, and they love being in our military again. So it's a great thing, and thank you very much. Great job.
So slashing the federal government, but growing the military with troops.
Yeah, they talk about
a little contradictory.
They found 80 million in the Department of Defense, and it's like that's our heaviest spending area. So
Jason's father, grandfather, and great-grandfather all wore the uniform. Jason tragically lost his dad, who was also a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy when he was just a boy, and now he wants to carry on the family legacy of service. Jason is a senior in high school, a 6-letter varsity athlete, a really good athlete, they say, a brilliant student with a 4.46, that's good, GPA. And
his little ad libs are just
the US
so funny.
Military Academy at West Point.
it sounds like I'm talking shit. The truth is, I do like him. I mean, personally, he's hilarious. There's good things about him, but until we work on some of the real shit, I'm not can't give him too much credit.
I can see how people just totally love him and are oblivious to any of the negative things.
Oh, 100%. Most people don't know, what they see on Fox News.
But I'm pleased to inform you that your application has been accepted. You will soon be joining the Corps of Cadets.
Yeah, like for a campaign rally, this is good. But I want to see stuff talking. I want to hear serious things about foreign policy and about what we're planning on doing with this developing situation and war in the Middle East. Ukraine.
Yeah. They know the demographic, though. This is what wins support and approval ratings in like a lot of American households watching this on TV, this type of thing.
Yeah, all pomp and circumstance, all paint job, no engine, no substance.
As Commander-in-Chief, my focus is on building the most powerful military of the future. As a first step, I'm asking Congress to fund a state-of-the-art Golden Dome missile defense shield to protect our homeland, all made in the USA.
The Golden Dome. That's the name for it now. The Golden Dome.
I mean, look.
For our war in Magog against Iran, Russia, and China.
Wanted to do it long ago.
It's definitely a pretty cool sounding name. I'll give them that.
Now we have the
It sounds
We got
cool.
Stargate and now
other
Golden
places,
Dome.
They have it. Israel has it. Other places have it. And the United States should have it too. Right, Tim? Right? They should have it too. So I want to thank you.
Now, let's hope that we don't need it.
This is a very dangerous world. We should have it. We want to be protected, and we're going to protect.
Do we not have missile defense already? Is like also the
Boost
question.
our defense industrial base. We are also going to resurrect
I mean,
the
you'd think
American
we'd absolutely have it.
shipbuilding industry, including commercial shipbuilding and military shipbuilding.
Golden Dome sounds like a sex act. Was Jack
I
Stone?
was going to say something like that, but
You dirty dog.
That we will create a new Office of Shipbuilding in the White House and offer special tax incentives to bring this industry home to America where it belongs. We used to make so many ships. We don't make them anymore very much, but we're going to make them very fast, very soon. It will have a huge impact. To further enhance our national security, my administration will be reclaiming the Panama Canal, and we've already started doing.
did you see the BlackRock bought both ports of it today?
No. Hey, note that down. I want to talk about that when it's done.
Yesterday, a large American company announced they are buying both ports around the Panama Canal.
BlackRock?
And lots of other things having to do with the Panama Canal and a couple of other canals. The
Ben Gurion Canal?
Built by Americans for Americans, not for others.
Yeah, it's BlackRock.
Others could use it, but it was built at tremendous cost of American blood and treasure. 38,000 workers died building the Panama Canal.
Here we go.
They died of malaria. They died of snake bites.
Huge W.
It's not a nice place to work.
Unbelievable,
They
man.
paid them very highly.
They're saying it's a huge Trump win.
Yeah, yeah. Come on.
That they would die. The most expensive project also that was ever built in our country's history, if you bring it up to modern day costs. It was given away by the Carter administration for $1, but that agreement has been violated very severely. We didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back. And we have Marco Rubio in charge. Good luck, Marco. Now, we know who to blame if anything goes wrong.
Little Marco.
Yeah, little Marco.
We know who to blame. He'll scapegoat somebody. It's so funny. We know who to blame.
99, but the 100th was this gentleman, and I feel very certain. So let's assume he got 100 votes. And I'm either very, very happy about that or I'm very concerned about it. But he's already proven. I mean, he's a great gentleman. He's respected by everybody, and we appreciate you voting for Marco. He's going to do a fantastic job. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. The Adelson puppet. Trump in 2015 calls him an Adelson puppet.
Great job.
And now they're both Adelson puppets.
And I also have a message tonight for the incredible people of Greenland. We strongly support your right to determine your own future. And if you choose, we welcome you into the United States of America. We need Greenland for national security and even international security, and we're working with everybody involved to try and get it. But we need it really for international world security, and I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it.
Whoa.
We will keep you safe. We will make you rich.
What'd he say? I hope you guys vote for it, but we'll just take it.
Yeah, we'll take it either way. Whoa. How ominous.
Very small population.
It'll be like same for Canada, too. Same goes for you, Canada.
And very, very important for military security. America is once again standing strong against the forces of radical Islamic terrorism. 3.5 years ago, ISIS terrorists killed 13 American service members and countless
Every
others.
time they
The
talk about
Taliban
Islamic
bombing
anything,
during
it
the
just has
disastrous
bar out of me.
and
Anything
incompetent
they have
withdrawal
said.
from Afghanistan. Not that they were withdrawing, it was the way they withdrew. Perhaps the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. Tonight, I am pleased to announce that we have just apprehended the top terrorist responsible for that atrocity, and he is right now on his way here to face the swift sword of American justice. And I want to thank especially the government of Pakistan for helping arrest this monster.
Chat saying they want to see a live execution. That would be hard.
I actually got to know very well
That-
most of them, whose children were murdered, and the many people that were so badly, over 42 people.
If they want to lower the national debt so bad, get the worst criminal, do a big pay-per-view show, make it like a UFC event. I'm sure they'd fucking do it.
Yeah, just like the Romans.
Putin saw what happened. I guess he said, wow, maybe this is my chance. That's how bad
It
it
can really
was.
be like Idiocracy.
Should have never happened. Grossly incompetent people. I spoke to many of the parents and loved ones, and they're all in our hearts tonight. Just spoke to them on the phone. We had a big call. Every one of them called, and everybody was on the line. And
Look at that actor's look on Mike Johnson's face like he's about to cry.
as happy as you can be under those circumstances. Their child, brother, sister, son, daughter was killed for no reason whatsoever. In the Middle East, we're bringing back our hostages from Gaza. In my first term, we achieved one of the most groundbreaking peace agreements in generations, the Abraham Accords. And now we're going to build on that foundation to create a more peaceful and prosperous future for the entire region. A lot of things are happening in the Middle East. People have been talking about that so much lately with everything going on with Ukraine and Russia. But a lot of things are happening in the Middle East. It's a rough neighborhood, actually. I'm also working tirelessly to end the savage conflict in Ukraine. Millions of Ukrainians and Russians have been needlessly killed or wounded in this horrific and brutal conflict with no end in sight. The United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense with no security, with no anything.
No security. What does he mean by that? With no anything? Weird clap for that one.
Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes.
Whoa. Whoa. Pocahontas drop. Oh, she's clapping there too.
People are being killed every
Dude,
single
this
week.
is like
More than
Idiocracy.
The
Pocahontas.
Russian young people.
I'll echo really bad because I got it cranked up so I can hear
But I
it.
wanted
But
to
when we're
say-
done, I'll give my.
Got it.
my
Meanwhile, Europe has sadly spent more money buying Russian oil and gas than they have spent on defending Ukraine by far. Think of that. They've spent more buying Russian oil and gas than they have defending. And we've spent perhaps $350 billion, like taking candy from a baby. That's what happened. And they've spent $100 billion. What a difference that is. And we have an ocean separating us, and they don't. But we're getting along very well with them, and lots of good things are happening. Biden has authorized more money in this fight than Europe has spent by billions and billions of dollars. It's hard to believe that they wouldn't have stopped it and said at some point, come on, let's equalize. You got to be equal to us. But that didn't happen. Earlier today, I received an important letter from President Zelensky of Ukraine. The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, he said. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient for you.
So there's still a deal on the table, apparently.
Sent this letter, just got it a little while ago.
Oh.
Yeah, Zelensky sent a bunch of tweets begging to sign it.
And I've received strong signals that they are ready for peace. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Yeah, yesterday he said that they were very, very far from peace, and then we cut the aid. Less than 24 hours later, he's begging, kind of, come on, for peace.
Wouldn't that be beautiful? It's time to stop this madness. It's time to halt the killing. It's time to end this senseless war. If you want to end wars, you have to talk to both sides. Nearly 4 years ago, amid rising tensions, a history teacher named Mark Vogel was detained in Russia and sentenced to 14 years in a penal colony. Rough stuff. The previous administration barely lifted a finger to help him. They knew he was innocent, but they had no idea where to begin. But last summer, I promised his 95-year-old mother, Malphine, that we would bring her boy safely back home. After 22 days in office, I did just that, and they are here tonight.
They released a Russian prisoner? I didn't know about that.
That woman's 95. She easily could look 80. She looks great for 95.
Yeah, she does. You think she could be like 75?
Good for her. Well, she's not living in this, whatever, all this fake bullshit food country. She's probably eating normal stuff over in Russia. Man, Trump loves Russia now. You can just tell.
Yeah, that's trying to show, like, look, he can make deals with Russia. That's why he's bringing this up.
You can tell that that's who we're about to align with. I think he's going to tell Europe to get stuck here.
I've been calling that they're going to have a peace deal and kind of a little bit of a screw job from Ukraine. I've been saying that all along.
Mark and his great mom, we are delighted to have you safe and sound and with us. As fate would have it, Mark Vogel was born in a small.
Clearly, he's like boys with Putin. They just have a similar, tough guy style.
His mother has lived for the past 78 years. I just happened to go there last July 13th for a rally. That was not pleasant. And that is where I met his beautiful mom right before I walked onto that stage. And I told her I would not forget what she said about her son. And I never did I? Never forgot. Less than 10 minutes later, at that same rally, gunfire rang out, and a sick and deranged assassin unloaded 8 bullets from his sniper's perch into a crowd of many thousands of people. My life was saved by a fraction of an inch, but some were not so lucky.
New York Post just reported today that Thomas Matthew Crooks was working with a team.
I didn't hear you say that again. What team?
Thomas Matthew Crooks, the attempted assassin, was working with a team. An exclusive report from the New York Post said today.
A team of Ukrainians or Iranians?
Just several people. It was a multi-person operation.
From the bullets with his own body. Corey was hit really hard. You know the story from there. He sacrificed his life to save theirs. 2 others, very fine people, were also seriously hit. But thankfully, with the help of 2 great country doctors, we thought they were gone and they were saved. So those doctors had great talent. We're joined by Corey's wife, Helen, who was his high school sweetheart, and their two beloved daughters, Allison and Kaylee. Thank you.
He's really shining. And the tattoos don't go well when you're dressed up in a dress, I think.
No, it makes it look terrible.
Allison and Kaylee.
Not
Corey
classic.
is looking down on his three beautiful ladies right now, and he is cheering you on. He loves you. He is cheering you on. Corey was taken from us much too soon, but his destiny was to leave us all with a shining example of the selfless devotion of a true American patriot. It was love like Corey's that built our country, and it's love like Corey's that is going to make our country more majestic than ever before. I believe that my life was saved that day in Butler for a very good reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. I believe that.
Saved by God to save the world.
Are there some like Israeli extremists that think he's a Shiite?
No, not really. They say he's just like a servant of Moshiach, pretty much.
but they do consider him to be that.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. From the patriots of Lexington and Concord to the heroes of Gettysburg and Normandy, from the warriors who crossed the Delaware.
Mm-mm.
So what's been going on, by the way, is like the Trump audio for me is really low, but your audio is normal. So I keep having to like turn it up and down. That's where my echo is coming from. So once it's over, I'll have my volume, because I don't have my earpiece in, I'll have my volume leveled out to where, you know, people won't be able to hear the echo.
I just tried to open up some tabs of the New York Post tabs you sent me, and it's like crashing my browser.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a normal link. It's not like a.
No, I know. This it's like my browser's been doing this with certain websites. I don't know if it's like an add-on that's pop-up blocker that's crashing me or something, but this shit is all frozen right now. Okay, there it goes.
The trailblazers who climbed the Rockies, and from the legends who soared at Kitty Hawk to the astronauts who touched the moon, Americans have always been the people who defied all odds, transcended all dangers, made the most extraordinary sacrifices, and did whatever it took to defend our children, our country, and our freedom. And as we have seen in this chamber tonight, that same strength, faith, love, and spirit is still alive and thriving in the hearts of the American people. Despite the best efforts of those who would try to censor us, silence us, break us, destroy us, Americans are today a proud, free, sovereign, and independent nation that will always be free, and we will fight for it till death. We will never let anything happen to our beloved country, because we are a country of doers, dreamers, fighters, and survivors. Our ancestors crossed a vast ocean,
Dude,
into the unknown
this is
wilderness,
almost 2 hours. Is this the crescendo?
soil of a perilous and very dangerous.
I told you I thought it'd be long, man. But like, I thought it would be a little bit more consequential than this. Like, this is pretty
They
lame.
built the railroads, laid the highways, and graced the world with American marvels like the Empire State Building, the mighty Hoover Dam, and the towering Golden Gate.
Like, it's just all this meaningless rhetoric. Yeah, he said that we were friendly with Ukraine, but nothing significant. Didn't really say anything about Israel either. I mean, I guess that's okay, but
Industry vanquished the communists,
This is
fascists and
just Trump's
Marxists
like
all over the world
victory lap. He's
and
trying to take
gave
his
us
first little
countless
victory
battle
lap for
wonders,
his
often
return to
out of
power.
iron, glass, and steel. We
Well,
stand
and
on the
maybe that'd be
shoulders of
okay,
these
except for we
pioneers
just
who
had a
have
totally
built
dog
modern
shit leap
age.
where, like, honestly, the
Workers
truth
who
coming to
put
the
their
surface.
sweat
That's
into the skylines
cut
of
him
our
off.
cities. These warriors who shed their blood on fields of battle and gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom. Now it is our time to take up the righteous cause of American liberty. And it is our turn to take America's destiny into our own hands and begin the most thrilling days in the history of our country. This will be our greatest era. With God's help, over the next 4 years, we are going to lead this nation even higher, and we are going to forge the freest, most advanced, most dynamic, and most dominant civilization ever to exist on the face of this earth. We are going to create the highest quality of life, build the safest, and healthiest and most vital communities anywhere in the world. We are going to conquer the vast frontiers of science, and we are going to lead humanity into space and plant the American flag on the planet Mars and even far beyond.
That was it. He's going to end with "Make America Great Again" or "The Golden Age of America." What's going to be the last line?
I think I'll say "Make America Great." I think it will make America strong again, make America rich again. You know, it's
of the American
cadence.
spirit.
Yeah.
And we are going to renew unlimited promise of the American dream. Every single day we will stand up and we will fight for the country our citizens believe in and for the country our people deserve. My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless
There it was.
America.
Golden Age of America.
You did it, man. You called it.
It wasn't hard. I mean, it was either one of the two.
So what do you think? What's going through your mind right now after that?
It's almost like exactly what I expected it to be. Number one. I think it's hilarious that it's unprecedented the way he like called her Pocahontas and was pointing at him and calling him out and him tooting. This is a victory lap. It's him tooting his own horn. He's the best. He's had the best first couple weeks of the presidency since better than George Washington. Like how do you make that comparison? It's been better than George Washington. They're all saying it.
Yeah.
What are your first thoughts?
Well, I just think it's the normal sort of Trump PR blitz. His whole, he repeated everything he says in his campaigns, and a lot of it sounds good. But at the end of the day, there's just really no substance behind it. Like we have a razor thin edge in the House. Even just today, the first thing that he tried to sign into law as far as the Protecting Women in Sports Act or whatever the name of it was, this bill, it got blocked by the Senate. It couldn't even get through any procedural matters. And I feel like just his campaign promises and what he's telling the American people in comparison to like what he's actually doing and who it's actually benefiting, it's just totally out of whack from what he's saying. The only people that are winning right now with this new Trump administration is this new tech billionaire class. And really, the previous base with Trump was all populists, all nationalistic. In 2020, it was 85% white, non-Hispanic. In 2016, it was 88% non-Hispanic, white. And I just feel like, he's dragged the right wing to the center left. Sorry, I know it's still on. I should have been blabbing. If we want to hear whatever.
No, it's okay. I have it on mute. I have it muted down. Can you hear it?
No. I thought I wasn't sure if you wanted to hear whatever the hell he was saying. It's not going to be anything though.
Lauren Boebert said it was your best speech, Mr. President. That's the only thing noticeable I heard.
So, Adam, the most troubling thing about this presidency to me is just the fact that, look, two things can be true at once. I like plenty of the things that Elon Musk is doing. I like plenty of the imagery and the fact that, Trump's not a total pussy. He does kind of make you think, okay, the American flag's not so bad. Like when you're looking at an American flag when Joe Biden's president, you're just like, man, this is like a sad disgrace. But there's things about Trump. He is funny. He does have some boss energy. There are some good characteristics. But I just think at the end of the day, man, that, basically we're occupied. We're not really achieving any of this progress that I think that he's sort of promising. And the most troubling thing is, he's got the largest private bureaucrat, unelected bureaucrat, participating in all these different government matters. He's giving, Elon Musk basically a master key in any area of the government that he wants to explore. And I just feel like when you've got someone who is the richest man in the world, he's got tons of influence over the most powerful man in the government. He's got all these multinational corporations, and he owns the largest media instrument in Twitter, and it's monetized. I mean, this combination is leading to the biggest sort of government propaganda apparatus that we've ever seen. And now all these people that were famous, that were known to be, right-wing conservative voices or whatever, they're being paid for their opinions. And now these same
and
people
boosted because of their opinions too, that are pro-Trump and pro-Elon.
And what's even more troubling is some of the most famous figures on all of X that were previously totally independent journalists that were not, mainstream media or whatever. Well, now they're the ones that the White House is targeting because they want to earn their trust. They want these people to want access because those are the easiest people to push your propaganda. So, I mean, there's plenty of people that went to that Bindergate thing that are actually pretty legit journalists, pretty legit people. I mean, most of them are Zionist shills, but a couple of them are not. And it's just disappointing because, I spoke with one privately saying, look, you've got to post about Pam Bondi. You've got to push back on some of these people. Otherwise, people are going to call you a shill because you decided to show up. And I
saw an article or post today. They're claiming that Trump didn't know about the binders, and this was a Pam Bondi thing that didn't inform the president's team or something. So it's already being compartmentalized away from him.
Well, I mean, I can say
it may be true. It may be true.
I feel like he's the type of guy that delegates everything to someone. I don't really think he really knows too much about these. I
doubt. He didn't tell her I want you to give a bunch of the Twitter people some binders, okay? I doubt it was his. It came from the top from him. That's unlikely.
Dude, I think it was total, complete incompetence on her part. Obviously, I think probably, for years now, the files have either already been erased or, they're in some vault in Tel Aviv or wherever.
It was a PR stunt that backfired, basically.
Exactly. And I think that what happened, man, is this Pam Bondi woman who sucks. She received public pressure, probably for the first time really ever. She hasn't been in a position, of this magnitude. So once that Luna chick, fake name stripper, Anna Paulina Luna, started pressing and saying, hey, we've sent out letters to the DOJ on the 11th and on the 19th. We haven't heard a response. Then Pam Bondi felt the need to go on Fox News, not once, but twice, literally said, they're all on my desk. I've read them and the contents are sickening. You're going to be surprised, Jesse Waters. The American people are really in for, something here tomorrow. And then for her to go from that and then drastically shift to deflecting blame on the FBI office in New York, consistently saying that she was being misled. And, now there's a truckload. clearly this is total a deception operation. And if you remember, Adam, Mossad released that video on 60 Minutes about 45 days ago where they said the world is our stage and anyone that we want to be an actor is our actor. And that's what I actually was thinking of when I saw this whole thing play out with Bondi and this whole situation. Did you think it's an interesting correlation?
I think about that clip for everything, basically. It's so funny too. I just played it the other day on the stream, and the woman, the host of 60 Minutes, also goes, Mossad wages war by deception. Like, it's just so cool. That used to be like the anti-Semitic conspiracy, and now 60 Minutes is like boasting about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, man. And like, I know that we discussed this a little bit earlier, where it's like, well, what is going to happen because of this awakening? Because it is very true, you know, especially post October 7th on X. Yes, there's been extreme, you know, heightened discussion of Jewish power and influence, especially over the American government and every other thing regarding that topic. But I do really wonder sometimes if like this quote unquote freedom, even though so many people get suspended all the time, I do sometimes wonder if this was allowed to sort of prosper and spread simply for them to more easily identify some of these people they want to come after in the future. Because I just think that these anti-Semitism laws, you know, the IRHA stuff, all of that I really do think is coming.
I think Elon buying X is a huge part of that.
That's what I mean. I think that X was allowed to sort of put all that behavior out there. Maybe Elon even retweeted or sort of, because remember in the beginning, before Elon was trotted out to Auschwitz, he was being a little bit more, remember when he said, oh yeah, well, you know, when you kill one of these Hamas children, it only creates 3 more Hamas soldiers. And he was kind of bringing up some counterpoints to the traditional Zionist lens that the right-wing media sees things through. So I wonder sometimes if for the freedom of speech was allowed to kind of advance just so they could, you know, do a data collection operation.
It's so funny. You know, all the Trump people online, all the Q people are like, oh, BlackRock. I mean, rightfully, they're talking about the power of BlackRock. But Trump, in his first term, appointed the BlackRock guy, Larry Fink, right? He was involved with his cabinet to some degree. And then now he's bragging about this they're taking back the Panama Canal, and it's BlackRock. He's like, oh, a big company's buying up some area there, and it's BlackRock. He's boasting about the BlackRock deal.
See, that's the biggest problem about my entire thing and this sort of like identity crisis that people have with Trump. It's like, at least for me, and many other people, they still think that Trump is that same guy from 2016, saying that a small cabal runs your country and that special interests and corporate interests are ultimately what dictate, you know, what's happening inside of your country. And now he's gone from that outsider, anti-establishment sort of position, and he's completely shifted. And sometimes, Adam, I honestly think that whole assassination attempt, yes, he was already aligned with the Adelsons. Yes, he already was total Israeli shill before this. But man, this whole new tech right angle and all this capitulation on nearly every conservative social pillar really exacerbated after the assassination attempt, if you notice. Like crazy. Really, as soon as Elon Musk committed the 500-600, whatever the amount was, which is quite a large sum.
Elon did that in response to the assassination too. That was when he's like, "All right, I've had it," basically.
Yeah. Part of me thinks though that, you know, maybe that they thought that it was not going to. Maybe they thought that they weren't going to miss, and they figured, okay, he's not going to lose now. So we have to align ourselves with them. Like, if you can't beat them, join them type of situation. I just feel like the right is being completely co-opted and infiltrated by people who have no right-wing principles whatsoever. They just are greedy. And there's like a privatization of the government happening right now before our eyes, and people are just cheering it on again because of this propaganda tool that has become X, which I like X, but
Trump wave, whether they like believe it, agree with it or not, a lot of people. How about the Zelensky thing now? So I guess there was some truth to him announcing the mineral deal. The raw minerals, the raw earth minerals. He says, so Zelensky's tweeting out and sent him a letter saying that he's regrets what happened the other day and he's ready to make peace and ready to sign a deal.
Well, I mean, I know for sure 100% that they cut off all military aid to Ukraine yesterday. So it's like you're giving them two options. Like they were bragging about the UK giving them $2 billion. We literally gave them $350 billion. $2 billion when you're talking about the types of weapons that they need just to even do like, you know, they're basically having like World War I style trench warfare there right now is essentially what's going on just with heavier artillery. And $2 billion in the fight they're having, that's going to be used in a few weeks. And then what?
Really is $2 billion too. Like the deal with Trump is $350 billion, right?
Yes.
Is it for $350 billion more or just a payback of $350 billion in minerals for what we've already given?
So I'm not sure of the exact dollar amount on the agreement because it hasn't been signed yet, but I can just tell you that we've given them $350 billion since the start of the conflict. But like to give people an idea of how much we give them at one time, our last aid package that was passed to Ukraine was $60 billion. So UK is giving them 2 and we're giving them 60. And that was one that Biden snuck through right at the end there. And
didn't Macron say that they're paying for like 60% of it or 60% of it is not loans? Because I think this is more like just a symbolic thing, and like other European countries are also chipping in some billions.
Well,
but then Trump says you can't do anything. He tells Starmer, you think you can take on Russia without us?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like what you're seeing right now is them posturing because, you know, I know that people don't like when we call them globalists, but like the leaders of European countries are by definition total globalists, and they are the ones that are pushing for Ukraine to be part of NATO and this, that, and the other. But it's like they're just trying to posture, show, you know, signs of unity and strength. Britain said, oh, we're going to bring soldiers there if you guys don't continue to give them aid. And it's like they don't have the manpower, they don't have the money. Donald Trump understands that it is true what he said. Like, we have the cards, and Zelensky has absolutely zero chance. The only outcome is instant defeat and his likely death or displacement immediately if the U.S. quits. So he sobered up from his coke high over the last few days. He got home. Someone told him, hey, Vlad, you're fucked unless you just go ahead and listen to the states on this. So if you want to survive, this is what you have to do. And that's what you're seeing. I mean, you know,
you don't have the cards. You don't have the cards.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, if you're starving, you might eat something for dinner that you don't really prefer. And right now he knows he's going to starve to death. So he's going to eat whatever we're serving up.
Another $4 billion expedited delivery, $4 billion more in military aid. Rubio says Trump has approved $12 billion in arms sales since Israel began taking office. How many more billions do they need for Gaza? Gaza's a small place, and they've already blown up every building there, basically.
I know. Well, that's the thing. It's like they've already basically completely they've neutralized almost every significant fighting force in the area. I mean, dude, they took out Hezbollah. They basically took out Hamas. The Houthis are greatly diminished. Syria had a regime change. You know, they've already announced through several publications that they're going to target Iran's nuclear sites this year.
They're flying over the Hezbollah funeral.
Yeah. And so it's just like, what do they even need money for? That's the thing, man. And it's like, even the most diplomatic, educational, warm, nice person that is going to look at politics in the United States from a pragmatic and reasonable point of view, like this amount of influence, this amount of control, this amount of subservitude, this amount of just the chair pushing in and the whole 9 yards, like normal people can see this, and dude, it's just weird. So I hope that, you know, like the loudest voice, and I don't even consider myself a conservative. I just consider myself, you know, a normal dude that doesn't like to be lied to. But some of these people that are in the political media sphere, they're going to have to address this at some point, because like if they're worried about extremism and all this shit, well, if they keep flaunting this in our face and not admitting that it's real, it's only going to drive people even more and more mad.
like how many more terrorist attacks in Western and European countries did Trump cause by posting that like promo video for Trump Gaza with him and BB on the beach drinking drinks? Like you don't think that that's going to cause Muslims to go out and just and do attacks, that type of provocation?
Well, absolutely. I mean, and let's just be honest. I mean, that's exactly what Israel wants. I mean, that's why they do, what the hell was it called? It starts with an H. It's the Hannibal Directive, where they kill their own people if they think they're going to be captured, or you see those cars that were completely scorched in a way that normal bullets or firepower or normal munitions could just never do. It was literally from Israeli attack helicopters. And so,
but I also thought that they like having hostages. The fact that they took hostages was the justification to just completely destroy all of Gaza.
Well, let's just look at it this way. If they really do want to follow through with the Greater Israel plan, which I think most anyone with a brain understands that they certainly want to go ahead and follow through with that plan, then you understand that, yes, they invite conflict. And oftentimes these are the reasons that false flag attacks even happen, because if you're unable to justify it, if it's with normal means, because either these issues or the attacks or the resistance isn't serious enough in order to, for your citizens to actually support actions like that, then yes, you end up doing a false flag, or you end up, putting atrocity propaganda out there to make it seem even worse, so that you don't face such public scrutiny once you actually do take some of these militaristic extreme measures, as they do so frequently, man. And like that, we know that that's going to happen. Like, honestly, you guys, if you think that, let's just say that like protests on campuses aren't too bad, and things like instances of anti-Semitism aren't so bad this year. Well, you better bet, like, they see the rhetoric just online, and they want, this is my belief, they want something to happen. They want some very unsightly thing to happen that's anti-Semitic, so that they can actually justify installing these laws. I mean, they want that to happen. And I think oftentimes you will even see like Jewish Voices for Peace or other nonprofits even fund some of these types of protests and things like that, so they can further those chances. Right.
This is hilarious. Rubio called it a partial arms embargo. He said that Biden had a partial arms embargo against Israel.
Wasn't that when they just stopped the 2,000-pound bombs for like what, 2 weeks or something?
Yeah. It's almost like it's some nothing burger that they could make such a big deal about.
Well, yeah, because there's literally no resistance, even like implied. There's never any no one's ever speaking out against giving anything to Israel. So yeah, when he even does something minuscule, it makes it seem like it matters. And then they can say, no, see, they stopped bombs to us. That's fair. We have it's they always make
they were anti-Semitic. And then they blame America. I see the rabbis, they blame America for Biden, for the $6 billion to Iran, and for tying Bibi's hands. They blame America as being anti-Semitic. So that's the narrative.
Yeah, I mean, so sometimes I don't do it as much now because like people just are so rabid about it on Twitter. But, I asked some people like Christopher Rufo and some of these like, totally like Zionist establishment right-wing figures. Like I just asked them in a very sort of a educationally worded type of way, saying, is there any criticism of Zionist influence over particularly the American right wing that you deem to be appropriate whatsoever? Like, is there anything that we can say to where you don't immediately just call us anti-Semite? If we say that 7 out of 8 Ivy League presidents happen to be Jewish, or we say that, however many people in Congress or whatever it might be, it's like, are we just sharing information, or is there ever any point in time where some of this can be discussed in a reasonable way? Because you can tell, man, honestly, the more reasonable or educated you are, the less they want to talk to you, because they're afraid of someone that like is dressed okay, or that might not be the dumbest person in the world actually speaking to their audience, because they're afraid that they're going to connect to them and start to kind of connect some dots.
We're coming up on 2.5 hours. Probably want to close it out in the next 10 minutes. Cover a couple more things that have been happening, but just real quick, because we didn't get a chance to like chat. We've never spoken before besides the space I was on with you and just like a little bit in DMs. But tell people who you are, basically. I want to hear about the Owen thing, and you're basically like, are you new to Twitter? I know you've just kind of like exploded on Twitter recently, but you've been going on a lot of other shows and stuff very recently. So tell us a little.
Yeah, so I didn't do.
But I see you got the YouTube thing back there. Does that mean you have 100,000 subs on YouTube? I
used to be a producer for a somewhat popular person, but they don't necessarily like me too much anymore. I talked a little bit too much about like race realism and Zionism and some other things like that. So I don't really. We'll talk about who it is, but
okay, you can tell me offline. I guess you don't want to start any drama. That's okay.
Well, and I don't even mind sharing it to everybody. But let me give you a little bit about my background. So my whole connection with Owen Schroyer and like Alex Jones or whatever, dude, people are confused. Owen's just my boy that literally lived in my neighborhood growing up back in St. Louis, where we're from. So, there's not a ton of guys that had like the sort of right-wing politics views that I had way back in like 2014, 2015. He was literally just my neighbor. So we've developed a good friendship over the years. And finally, I'd say in about 2021.
So you're IRL friends with Owen before he was working at InfoWars?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 2-3 years before he started working there. And so in about 2021, I started doing some writing, some producing, just some stuff on the side for Owen, particularly not for InfoWars. But I just kind of increasingly got more and more into politics. And then once the January 6th stuff happened and he got sentenced to jail, I actually started his now current Twitter account to give people updates on what was going on with him in jail and things like that. And then
his had been banned, so you started a new one when he was in jail. Is that right?
Just to kind of advocate for him because, InfoWars was not on any major platforms. They were kicked off YouTube, the App Store, X. So no one really knew, how to reach him or what was going on with him. So I just figured it'd be a good idea. And then like I started putting some opinions out there, like he went to jail in October 2023. Obviously October 7th happened. I put a few statements out there like the United States government is owned and controlled by Israel. I put some other, some just opinionated things out there. Things that I thought he'd be cool with, but people kind of knew it wasn't him. And
I noticed a change if I remember correctly. I noticed a change. Like I think you might have followed me with that account, and I was like, and I knew it wasn't him because he was in jail at the time. So I was like, who's this?
Yeah. Well, I was following Facebook because that's kind of the stuff I like.
Well, thank you. Well, that's what I'm going to ask. Also, weren't you like you weren't online doing any content, but you were like watching stuff even back when you first knew Owen, and you were almost, I think, if I remember correctly, you were like looking into Jewish conspiracy stuff like before Owen was, or before Owen worked at InfoWars, or while he was at InfoWars. Explain that.
Well, yeah, man. So I mean,
so you red pilling Owen, basically.
Just to give people a little background, like I'm 35 years old. So I actually got into looking into World War II things, looking into things like usury, looking into the expulsions and why it happened. The reasons that I started looking into that was simply because I was a high school student. I was in history class. And I had one really simple question, and this isn't even like a sympathizing thing or anything. I just had a simple question for my teacher. I asked the teacher, why did the Germans persecute Jewish people? And she gave me like a very weird look, and it was like an uncomfortable conversation. And I didn't get an answer. The answer was basically just because.
What an origin story.
Well, no. And then I began to like research heavily, just like normal World War II stuff.
Yeah. And then you jumped in the deep end right away, right from the start. That's funny.
Dude, yeah, young guy. And
I started with like watching Alex Jones.
What's funny is like the amount of people that have been red pilled from me in like real life because I got into it very early. And because honestly, man, I try to be like a pretty nice, reasonable dude. Like this isn't coming from a place of hate. Like my thing is that I don't like undue and undeserved power. I don't like corruption. I don't like when I know there is an incredibly strong influence and I'm not able to just fairly call that out. And so, yeah, I started noticing a lot of different inconsistencies. I started noticing that really any questions weren't allowed about almost any of it. And so, yeah, that's how I got.
See my I think I might have asked you this. Did you see my debate with Owen like 7 years ago, whenever it first happened?
I saw like one of the first ones. Yeah,
that's right.
And to be honest with you,
I won, and I was right.
He's come a long way since then, but it was hilarious because, man, it was embarrassing because, I mean, you called him out on a lot of things, and I don't know if you know this, but I've criticized Alex Jones quite a few times, and I mean, like, I don't hate the guy. I don't think he's necessarily a mean-spirited or bad-intended dude, but it's become infomercial wars, brother. And like when you say and you build your entire career off of fighting the globalist for 30 years, and then you essentially align yourself with what I believe to be the biggest globalist in the history of the planet Earth.
Yeah, literally Zog, New World Order, basically.
Yes, and it's
Zionist, technocratic, religious New World Order.
When he got brought back to Twitter, man, it just really sort of started to show me that people really get caught up in the lights and they really want mainstream acceptance. And once people like Benny Johnson and Charlie Kirk and a lot of this stuff started to accept Alex as one of these big conservative influencers, I mean, my honest to God opinion is that you saw the quality of the content really dissipate. I mean,
now hold on. Like Hannity would give him a positive shout out, and then like Steve Bannon and Glenn Beck and all these people that used to hate and Tucker Carlson, all these people used to trash Jones, all welcome him in now.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that that's a very telling sign because remember, this was supposed to be the tip of the spear, the most controversial, like, public enemy number one. And that's just not, that is not his role now. And when they continue to say things like we're the most targeted organization, all this, it just sounds fake. Like, think of the type of stuff you're putting out there. Think about the type of stuff for the people that speak about Zionist influence, people that speak about, Jewish supremacy or whatever else. Like, they are literally getting themselves out there. Their banks are canceling them. They may be having personal issues and things because of some of the content that they put out. It's like, I just think it's disingenuous. It's disrespectful when you have people that are so influential that really could have the power to help shift the narrative towards things that I believe are more beneficial for Americans and particularly native-born Americans, because that's my main, political interest. I just think it's a shame, man. Like when he was all 1776, sure, maybe it was fake, but at least it seemed like a piece of it was genuine. Now it just seems like a total sellout. It's really a shame.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, dude, sorry. I know we were watching the thing for so long. Like, I'm better at talking than I am like watching it, and because my volume and all that. So
sorry about that. You know what I'm thinking? Maybe I have to do the StreamYard in a different browser. Like I'll do that in Mozilla and then do the other stuff in Chrome, and maybe the audio won't switch over and pick up. I'm thinking maybe that's it. That's going to be my next try. You would think StreamYard would have this figured out. It's like one of the simplest, things that you do when you stream.
I mean, it works very seamlessly. It's cool, but yeah, really quick though, I just want to get your opinion on this. What did you think about RFK going from pushing a vaccine that's been banned in Japan since 1993 yesterday? Oh, you went straight to it. To that tweet right there, basically saying that anti-Semitism is a public health issue. I mean, dude, like if you want to talk, that's one of the biggest stretches I've seen in a long, long time.
We should have saw it coming. Mental health. What all these mentally ill anti-Semites that hate Jews for no reason. Spiritual and moral. What is that? Malady? I've never heard of that term. Moral malady. I know I'm not the only one. That sickens societies and kills people with lethalities. That's another weird word. Comparable to history's most deadly plagues. Oh my God, it's like the most deadly. Anti-Semitism is the deadliest plague. We need a vaccine for anti-Semitism.
Do you not sometimes think that when they put these types of statements out that they're almost just stoking a flame on purpose? Like we just spoke about how they almost want to see increased anti-Semitism because they want to have a reason to create laws to put it out. I mean, like he must know. I mean, obviously he didn't just wake up and say, have breakfast, start whistling and just tweet this out on his own. Clearly he was made to tweet this. And it's just like,
27,000 likes.
Well, I mean, that's the troubling part about it too, is this is actually something that, maybe we can talk about next time. But if you've noticed, ever since Trump has won, any resistance on the right has greatly died down. I mean, whether it's through the actual White House or whether it's through a bunch of conservative organizations that are very aligned with the president, they want to basically take the dissident right, defang it. I know that, plenty of people have much to say about groypers and stuff, but make no mistake, like they want those accounts gone because they were pretty effective at spreading a lot of dissident ideas. So I just think that
they're also effective at making anti-Semitism look retarded, though, at the same time.
No, and so I talk about something, I call it business suit national, or me and a friend call it business suit white nationalism. But basically the idea is that if you're going to have an ideology that maybe some consider to be pretty far right or, kind of a little extreme or what have you, you need to present yourself or at least have the ability or the knowledge or the speaking ability to actually put your ideas out there in a way that's going to be perceptible or digestible to someone that might not that may disagree with you heavily, or that's a total normie. Because like when you got dudes out there just throwing Romans and being crazy and doing Hitler edits and all this type of stuff, to me, that makes it very difficult for someone that is open, maybe in other circumstances, to having an America First, isolationist, nationalist ideology. I think it scares them away. So I'm not saying to people like, hey, if you want to be hardcore, that's up to you. But like for me, I try to sort of just frame things in certain ways where I can actually get people to sort of start agreeing that otherwise wouldn't.
Yeah, it's like, that you can make the argument that it's fun and it's trolling and it's internet and it's edgy and it's memes and that reaches more people. But I think a lot of good people are also turned away by a lot of the antics and the behavior as well. But hold on, I wanted to read this just because this is something I had. It's RFK didn't just pen a missive expressing his opinion. He announced a new intergovernmental initiative, hilariously including health and human services, for some reason to combat anti-Semitism on college campuses, using the coercive power of the state to punish speech. So it's more than just a tweet. Colombia's ongoing anti-Semitism. Did you see this yet?
No.
More than $5 billion in federal grants, anti-Semitism like racism. Okay, there's the same tweet. It's in the statement. But then he says, based on speech freedom and open debate. Task force. Part of the task force to combat anti-Semitism, the executive order created by Trump. So it's coming from the top down. This is government wide.
Do you think that European style laws are going to come to America here like this year?
Just wait till there's like another attack. That'll be the pretext for them to do anything they want. With this IHRA definition, they're definitely going to want to have hate speech laws.
Yeah.
Or more censorship and deplatforming as well. They have the anti-Christian task force as well. That's just going to be the anti-Christian Zionist task force. So they could be cracking down on Christian anti-Semitism, on just any criticism of Jews at all. I see that coming as well.
Also going to see, I don't know if it's going to be the same level of like propaganda or influence campaign that they did in the early 2000s, like for 9/11. I don't know how old you are, but man, like it was. They really wanted the American public to straight up hate Muslims at that period of time. And the way that people spoke, their vernacular on television, everything was all very geared towards that. Similar to how you see like, Mark Levin or Ben Shapiro. I mean, it's like that. And I do think that you will continue to see, like, especially mainstream conservative commentators continuously talk about Sharia law. They'll keep showing the videos of Germany, people getting run over and all this stuff, because although the Muslim population in America is actually quite small, it's very good propaganda as far as generating, sympathy for Israel and sounding the alarm for anti-Semitism.
Helps
So,
with the victimhood status of all of the, they're the ultimate victims of the Muslims.
So I think you'll see.
But they also try to say, oh, they hate you Christians too. They hate you Christians too. So they try to, that's the angle. Hilarious how like all of, I shouldn't say all of them, most of MAGA is like has an anti-vax lean. And Kennedy was like on the record questioning vaccines, and he's in just a couple weeks and already writing opinion pieces about the call to action because of the measles outbreak, and says MMR vaccine is crucial to avoiding potential deadly disease. Like Trump's up there signaling about autism rates, but then Human Health Secretary is on Fox News promoting more vaccines. And day one after Trump got in, Larry Ellison and Project Stargate and the AI, they're like, we're going to have vaccines that stop cancer and stuff. Day one. It makes something.
See, I think this is something that people need to realize. Like, you could be the best player in the world, but if you play on a dog shit team, you're never going to win any games. RFK Jr. might have some decent points. He might have some decent ideologies personally. But once he's in the system's in control. And like, that is the exact same thing for anyone that enters it, including Donald Trump. Donald Trump may be the most bombastic, talkative, made for TV, one-liner city, lots of cool things about him that are good for the actual imagery, and they're good for surface
total boss,
things.
total alpha strongman boss character.
That same system still controls him too. So no matter how cool or how America first you might think he is from his rhetoric, it's just the system itself is so corrupt and it's so big that's the issue. And so that's the reason why, for me, as far as left right politics, I think most people shouldn't even pay that much attention to them. But at the end of the day, I mean, we need to start moving towards a total foundational shift in getting I don't mean in a violent way, but we have to think of some sort of like proverbial reset, how we can remove all this private money and all this lobbying and all these multinational corporations out of our government. Because the truth is, man, is like our government doesn't serve the actual population. It literally only serves to protect the system itself and to enrich, the richest people in the world. I mean, honestly.
I just had a thought, like the Q people will probably be like, they're saving Israel for last. First, they're going to fix all these like terrible domestic things, right? And then it'll just be Israel is the problem. And then they'll go for that too. But hypothetically, if there were to be like a new, decades from now or something, a new government, if they already fixed some things, and it was only if the only big problems that we can have is like, vaccine op-eds and Israel compared to that and so many other problems. I don't know. I'm just rambling. But with Secretary Kennedy with RFK, we knew this is what we were going to get. Nobody should be surprised. He told you who he was. The Shmuley stuff, the Chabad posts, the getting questioned by Dave Smith about Israel, and he just goes silent, like saying the Palestinians are the most pampered people. Nobody should be surprised. This is exactly what we're going to get. People that shilled for him now, this is what you voted for. This is what you supported. Shouldn't be surprised.
Sometimes I think I have a hard time differentiating if people are just truly that purely stupid, where they just want to remain hopeful because they feel like if they give up hope in Trump and this administration, they just have nothing else to hold on to. I don't know if they're just stupid or if they really are like paid propagandists. Like when I see her name, I can't remember. There's like some older woman. Her name starts with a J, but long story short, it's like you see these Trump boomer, pretty large accounts, and you see them continuously defend all these people that don't deserve any defending, like the whole thing with the Pam Bondi stuff or like the stuff with RFK. And it's like, yeah, man, sometimes I wonder, and I don't like to admit it, but I do think that oftentimes we're just too far gone. I don't really see how
we're cooked. I feel like that every day. We're so cooked.
Now, the only sort of elixir to that, the only thing that's the antidote to that is how unbelievably based the younger generation is, almost a little too based. To where, like, you know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
bro, they're not afraid of saying the word like fascist. They're not afraid to throw a Roman. They're like hardcore. And so I don't know,
Yeah, but there's also they're gonna fall into all the
future.
disinfo traps, I feel like, and all the limited hangouts and all. They'll have a new crop of gatekeepers and propagandists. Almost a little too base. You're right about that. Did you hear the latest about the Pam Bondi? She's claiming that she got a whole truckload now, and that she got. Was that you?
I
heard
I'm
an
getting
audio
messages from my signal, but yeah, I'll try to turn it off.
Oh, okay, it's the first one I heard. It didn't sound like a message, but she's claiming that now we're gonna get these dramas. Now we're gonna get the Epstein documents. Will it all be fully released? She's doing damage control for the last PR disaster.
Yeah, I mean, she's been doing damage control for literally like 2 weeks now. I mean, if she had the documents, they'd already be out. It's clearly just all bullshit. The thing that's disappointing, though, is that it seems to me, if Trump wanted this stuff to be out, he'd make a statement, or he would have an executive order for the Epstein files, which many people don't realize doesn't exist. There is one for JFK, MLK, RFK. There is not one for 9/11, and there's not one for Epstein. And the truth is like, yes, we're interested in JFK. Yeah, they're not going to tell us that Israel's involved. They're going to redact it all and say it's
even this. She says some's going to be redacted. Oh, along with the. Okay, no, hold on. She says for national security, some of the Epstein files are going to be redacted.
Yeah, and you can categorize things as a national security issue, just by your own distinction. So that's what I mean. People need to realize we're not going to get it. We were promised something. We were lied to, just like the government's been corrupt in every other administration since it's ever existed, probably since like George Washington himself. Yes, you're not going to get it. And like, you're going to deal with an army of influencers telling you every single day that you're winning and that all these things, this is the most transparent administration. But just understand that like this whole, we are the media now, they're right. And that means that all the bad things that the mainstream media was susceptible to, most notably being bought out for their opinions, that is actively happening. Except for when you're an independent influencer, it costs 10 times less, because a lot of these people are just so smitten with the idea of being invited to the White House and getting a stupid binder that, before they even had a chance to look at it and realize, holy shit, this is information that was already released years ago, unredacted, that we have sitting in here redacted. They're holding it up like freaking some scripture. I know you don't love that either, but it's like, it's just crazy, man. There's their lack of self-awareness. And I actually think that social media influencers supplanting the mainstream media may actually be a worse thing for journalistic integrity, especially considering that they're paid on X by the same guy that is the most aligned person with the president in his current administration.
Just think of all like the men. Richard Spencer said the same thing. He's like, we need gatekeepers. We need the mainstream media. Like, think of all the crazy, kooky disinfo that people believe now because of like what gets promoted on TikTok or on some social media.
Yeah, and like, don't get me wrong. I don't watch a ton of mainstream media. I'm not like sitting there getting my facts from freaking CNN or Fox News or any of this. I'm not telling you to do that, but we do need some actually like journalistic institutions still, just to even have something as a base of comparison. Because if it's literally just all the Elon bros, you're going to have a different kind of bias.
Right.
And so like, that's the main problem that I'm seeing right now, especially on the American right, Adam, is like, these people, they've lost their principles and they don't really want to be standing for really any conservative values whatsoever. They simply want to be a cheerleader for this new tech coalition with Trump. And, I think that if the situation stays the same that it is now, I think that the most Zionist administration in American history is going to create the most Zionist rules for the largest social media platform in existence, because those two things are now literally aligned. And all the data and all the AI is all going to be used ultimately, potentially against you.
Yeah.
So
did you see the Authentics thing today? There was like some leaked docs thing, and they were using Authentics to dox somebody. The Israeli like facial recognition or verification company or whatever it is.
If you remember the Texas Observer article, which doxed guys like 1984, 9mm SMG, this guy Bullseye, somebody else, guys that are clearly acting with total malice, literally just doxing these guys, and it's allowed to stay on the platform because it's in a external link. But notice that the only thing that those guys all had in common was verification on X. That was the only thing, and I talked to several of these guys. And so, yes, it's true. Like, we knew about Authentics being involved. I actually had my account or my check mark taken away not too long ago, to where I was forced to re-verify. And sure enough, Adam, it was not Stripe. It was Authentics. And so I'm of the opinion that people are already, like, if someone wants to look at your face and track your stuff, you already have so many videos and things. People know who you are. And truthfully, it's kind of the same for me. Like, if they're going to scan my face, they already have the shit. So, I mean, much to my dismay, I did verify my thing again, but the only option it gave me was Authentics. So I think that, Israeli intelligence has their hand all over X. And I think that it's pretty observable just by some of the actions that have been taken against some of the strongest dissidents, especially anti-Israel ones.
Totally, yeah. I'm not monetized anymore because I didn't want to sign up with the Authentics thing. So if Kennedy's first, did anybody see his first order of business would be calling out the mental illness, the mental health crisis of anti-Semitism, the plague of anti-Semitism. So here's the vaccine, the commercial, the drug they're going to roll out for it. Odysee is the cure to your anti-Semitism disease.
After collapsing on the football field. After collapsing in the middle of the game.
Collapsing during the game.
Collapsing on the tennis court.
Suddenly collapsing.
The player
collapsed and died.
After collapsing.
Are you tired of being called a conspiracy theorist? Do you see patterns where other people don't? Are your relationships with your friends and family suffering as a result? Well, then ask your doctor about noticenol. Noticenol is an FDA-approved drug that helps people afflicted by chronic noticing. It works by suppressing the part of your brain responsible for critical thinking so you can get back to living carefree. Side effects of taking noticenol may include, but are not limited to, heart attacks, sudden adult death syndrome, storming the Capitol, unironically enjoying late television, and in rare cases, Brian's deltoritis. People who take noticenol once a day report up to a 97% decrease in noticing.
Best is the best part. The end.
Is right for you.
You can't stop coincidences from happening, but you can stop noticing them. And now, for more severe cases, try extra strength noticenol Jew.
Say goodbye to noticing once and for all. Noticenol.
That's a pretty famous comedian, isn't it?
That's Danny Jokes, Danny Polishka. He's Jewish. He's Ryan Long's podcast partner.
Wow, I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good.
He's got some funny ones. That was good. That's what came to mind when I heard of the mental, the plague, the virus, the mental health crisis of anti-Semitism.
So, all right, I got a question for you. I know we're about to round up, but do we still have people that are just refusing to? I'm not the one to do it, so don't confuse me with this crowd. But are we still getting people that refuse to debate you about Jesus? Is that still the situation?
Some people refuse, but I mean, there's always some people that are willing to do it. I mean, I've done a lot. I've done so many debates, definitely more debates on Christianity than like anybody in the sphere.
Have you done like Father Calvin Robinson or like Joel Webbin or any of those types of guys?
Stuart Nuchtel, that's probably the biggest one. I debated him on Modern Day Debates. You know, his dad, he's got the big nose. He's all over TikTok and big podcasts and stuff. The both of them are. But
I feel like you know who Father Calvin is, right?
Is that the guy that's on like with Tucker, the Catholic? I don't know the name.
Dude, he threw a Roman, I guess.
Oh, the black guy. Yeah, I covered him.
Have you debated him before?
No, I hadn't even thought to.
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking to myself, some guys that are like knowledgeable, that are pretty nice guys, and he's got a big platform. He's got like 400,000 followers or something, but he just got removed from whatever his order or whatever was for his thing he did at CPAC. So
yeah, it's hard out to everybody.
Anyways, I'm just saying, if you're still getting people that don't want to debate you, I don't mind reaching out to them guys because they're nice guys. I mean, it'll be,
I'm trying to finish the book, and then once the book is out, I'll probably be looking for more debates. But like, I haven't even been like thinking, who can I debate?
Yeah,
like, that hasn't been on my mind so much right now. I've done so many that it's like
I just see some tweets sometimes. I just want to make sure I'm, being nice.
No, maybe tweets I talk about gatekeepers. I'll talk about just about how everybody in the sphere that talks about Jews like won't criticize the foundation of Jews, which is like, the whole idea of the God and the chosen people and the prophecies like as being not real. Like that's what I refer to. But I've done a lot of debates. I'm after you win 20 debates, like you don't even want to do anymore. Really, it's just
No, I get that.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think, man?
I just had a pretty big one a couple of weeks ago too with Corey Mahler on iHypocrite's channel. That's got I think it's his most popular video that he's streamed in like months. I haven't checked it for a while, but it had like 20. It passed E. Michael Jones's debate he had with him very quickly.
Damn, I'll have to check that out. Maybe you send it to me in the DMs if you don't mind.
Sure, yeah. So it was cool to have you on for this super long show, 3-hour show for the maiden debut of Dominic Michael Tripi. What is Tripi? Like Italian?
It's Italian, yeah. I am 50% Italian.
Yeah.
I'm like 35% German, and the rest is French, I believe. I don't want to do one of those 23andMe's though, just because I feel like that's like the next level of data collecting. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I feel like literally they're gonna be fucking cloning people from that shit.
Well, it was either 23andMe or Ancestry are the two main ones. And 23andMe, like I always knew it was like Google, connected to Google and Jews and stuff. So I did Ancestry, and then BlackRock bought Ancestry like shortly after. So I'm just like, all right, fuck, I'm screwed.
Yeah,
but hey, at least I got to figure out. Now I get to show everybody that I'm not Jewish and I'm 100% Northwest European mix. So
who knows, man? I only realized, because again, I've only been on Twitter for a year. I only realized that was like a thing, like people like want to see. So who knows? Maybe one day I'll get
dude, you're killing on Twitter. You've only been on a year. I've been on since like 2015, and I'm pretty sure you're like about to pass me in.
Dude, I mean, here's the thing about Twitter though, man. It's like, you see like that I find retard, like you kind of just got to get into a niche. And so like for me, the breaking news stuff works. The only problem with that is you got to be online looking for that shit all the time. And then you can't just do news though. You got to throw in some opinion.
DM.
You don't throw in, you know what I mean?
Initials.
What'd you say?
DMT are your initials? That's cool.
DMT and my last
Clockwork Elves, man.
Funny, DMT and my last name's Trippy, but unfortunately I'm not there. Well, I guess fortunately I'm not into drugs, not into tripping. So just wasn't meant to be.
Mm-hmm. And maybe you won't catch up with me. You're not quite there. I'm at like almost 83. So, but you're growing super fast for only being up for a year. So
I made a good push from like November or so when I started doing more news. So
has it flatlined for you, or have you been growing in recent months, or has it slowed a bit?
I ended up during the H1B stuff. I got a lot of followers because
you write some bangers. You're good at it. I alienate and piss everybody off, so I'm not quite as good as on the growth metrics.
About things like Elon Musk is pushing globalism wrapped in an American flag and talking about just things like if you are an American and move to Russia, you're not Russian. If you're an American, it's just things like basically pro-immigration restrictionist ideology. anti H-1B shit. And then what really blew it up though was that I got my check mark taken away for arguing about H-1Bs. And then once that happened, there was like more notoriety in my account. And then I started kind of putting out some more more opinions and less like news and shit. So yeah, man, I mean, how I do it is I basically just do news and I throw in about 25% opinion, and sometimes people get pissed, sometimes they don't, but it seems to be working. And like my main thing, dude, is I just want to get big enough so I can actually get platformed by some people that will allow me to push some talking points that I know aren't being talked about. Like, I'm not a huge Andrew Tate guy or whatever, but I saw something he was saying during that Patrick Bet-David interview, and he was talking about World War II history. He was talking about why you're not able to question certain things and how our entire current modern world is based off that historical time period. He was also talking about how the only people and the only countries that are not able to be proudly nationalistic are the ones that are white, and basically how, the deck has been stacked against white people as a people, and saying some other interesting talking points that I don't care who they're coming from. I just like that they're being said. So I try to be like sometimes a little less controversial than maybe some people might know, in fact, that I am, because I want to actually live in a place where like our kids don't grow up in a shithole, dude. Like I'm truly worried in 10, 20 years from now, we're going to grow up or surrounded by outsiders that feel that we owe a historical and ancestral debt simply because we're born the way we are. And I don't want, for my kids or for me to have to live in that environment. And I truly feel like if this so-called right wing, if the only type of person that's allowed to be right wing is someone that's like Vivek Ramaswamy, then we're surely going to lose everything that, this country was initially found on. And I don't think that it means
Elon's probably done more than anybody, I think, and Tucker to a degree, raising a little bit of awareness about like anti-whites.
Yeah, and my last thing I wanted to say was that just because I want to advocate for my people doesn't mean that I hate yours, but it also means that cultural preservation, it's not all butterflies. It's not all happy times. It means that we actually have to do necessary things to maintain the society and the culture that we've grown to know and love. We've already really lost quite a bit of it. I'm not sure if it can be recovered, but I do know a great start would to be taking this deportation stuff very, very seriously. I am no fan of Blackwater and Eric Prince whatsoever, but he proposed a plan that was $20 billion that was very matter of fact, lined out, and truthfully for the money seemed cost effective and seemed like something that I would at least entertain, dude.
No more Eric Prince, no more Blackwater in America. No way.
I get it, but at least having a plan like that, and a different organization, then fine. But you hear me, right?
ICE. What do you think ICE is for? We don't need to, you're cutting all of this government jobs, but then you're not offshoring them. You're going to have military contractors instead and give them to NGOs and
so one thing that I'm aware of, one thing that I'm 100% sure that Trump can do by issuing executive order is he can bolster the amount of ICE employees. He can reassign people from different agencies to be working for ICE to actually develop the type of deportation squads and the type of means that we need in order to actually deal with this issue. Because the reality of it is, man, is if he, after doing a whole propaganda campaign, posting the numbers, talking about it constantly, running on it exclusively, if he can't even deport as many people as Biden averaged in the first month, then we really need to think about this from a foundationally different perspective. So like my whole
that was
thing
totally like Mossad theater when they were like Fox was like filming around. Look at this guy, this bad guy arrested. And it was just like, that's already been going on and it's not going on at greater numbers.
And you see like Kristi Noem all dolled up with these guys too. It's like total fake movie. And so, yeah, man, I just forget Trump, forget any of this political left, right dog shit. I just think that we need to start working on the actionable steps that ensure cultural preservation, because that's my main priority. I love where I live and I love my country, but at the same time, we're quickly turning into Canada and Europe, and we already know it's just going to perpetuate much worse soon. So no, thanks for having me, man. I know I fucking rant. So Thanks for
No,
letting
it's
me.
cool. That's why you're here, man. Appreciate it. It was a good to have you for the movie night, for the address to the nation.
Yeah,
It'll go down in
let's do another
history.
one soon.
The golden age of America and the golden dome over our great country.
Yeah, let's do it again soon, man. For real.
Okay.
Thanks again.
All right, thank you, and thank everybody. Let's see if I do click in stream, and there's my outro. Cool, everybody. Thanks. No super chats to thank because I'm demonetized, paused on Odysee right now, and the Rumble ones haven't gotten any recently, and they all scrolled away. So I will probably be back tomorrow, if not the day after. Everybody have a nice night. Thanks for watching, and take care. And thank you, Michael or Dominic.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah. And outro. Play outro. Later, guys.